This is Nationwide 90 FM, owned and operated by Nationwide News Network. We broadcast from our studios at 6 Bradley Avenue, Kingston 10, Jamaica. Transmitting on the FM 90 band. 90.3 from Peters Rock in St. Andrew and Murphy Hill in St. Anne. Serving Kingston and St. Andrew, St. Catherine, St. Anne, parts of Clarendon, St. Mary, and St. Thomas. 90.5 from Huntley in Manchester, transmitting to St. Elizabeth, Westmoreland, Manchester, Clarendon, rural St. Andrew, and parts of St. Thomas. And 90.7 from Coopers Hill in St. Andrew and Flower Hill in St. James, serving Westmoreland, Hanover, St. James, sections of Trelawney, Kingston, St. Catherine, Clarendon, St. Mary, Portland, and St. Anne. Nationwide 90 FM also broadcasts on the World Wide Web on nationwideradiojm.com and on Flow on channel 916. Nationwide 90 FM, a revolution in media. You're listening to Nationwide 90 FM. The time is
6 o'clock.
From the studios of Nationwide Radio, morning radio the right way. It's Nationwide This Morning.
A very good morning to you. I'm Tawna Thomas. Coming up in the news at 6 for this morning, Thursday, April 17, 2025. Witness in Mario Dean trial identifies him from a photo. West Kingston police conduct several raids in response to ongoing gang conflict. ECJ says it's unable to commit to a timeline for the completion of Portmore boundary adjustment work. In regional news, officials demand answers as crews work to restore power after another Puerto Rico blackout. In international news, the Trump administration threatens Harvard with a foreign student ban. In sports, Jamaica set to face Guyana in the West Indies Under-15 Cricket Championship later on Thursday. And in business, Shein and Temu warn tariffs will push up prices in the U.S. The details after the break.
At Kia, driving your future means joining the movement that inspires. Whether it's the small but mighty Picanto hatchback or the top-of-the-line tech-rich Sorento SUV, there's a Kia that perfectly fits your lifestyle and your budget. ATL Automotive has gotten Jamaicans behind the wheels of thousands of Kias for the past 7 years. And we're ready to get you behind the wheel of a Kia too. Simply visit the nearest Kia showroom for a test drive now.
Catch the first news of the day. A comprehensive package of local, international, sports, and business news. The news at 6 on Nationwide 90 FM.
Now to the details. The Crown's eighth witness in the Mario Dean trial continued his gripping testimony about the day in August 2024 when Dean was beaten to death while in police custody. The witness was also in custody at the Barnett Street Police lockup at the time of Dean's beating. He told the Westmoreland Circuit Court on Wednesday that the three accused JCF members on trial ignored inmates' calls for help while Dean was being attacked. George Davis picks up the story.
In court on Wednesday, the witness identified Mario Dean from a photo shown on a document as the person he referred to as the new prisoner during his testimony in chief on Tuesday. The witness who was convicted is the Crown's eighth witness in the trial of District Constable Marlon Grant, Corporal Elaine Stewart, and Constable Juliana Clevon. He testified that the image looks like Mario Dean, the prisoner that was brought in by Corporal Stewart and Constable Clevons, whom he referred to as Indian, and DC Grant, otherwise called Shortman. According to the witness, the three accused JCF members first put Dean in cell number 1 on the first floor at the Barnett Street Police lockup in Montego Bay, St. James, but he was taken from that cell when he was offered bail. A previous witness had testified that Dean was denied bail after making the comment, quote, "That is why I don't like the police, you know." End quote. According to the latest Crown witness, after Dean was denied bail, he was brought back to the lockup and placed in cell number 4, which housed those inmates with mental challenges. The man further testified that he attended a witness parade on September 13 where he identified Shortman and Indian. He also told the court that following the August 3 incident, he spoke with the 3 police personnel, the former police commissioner, Dr. Carl Williams, and a government minister. During his gripping testimony on Tuesday, the witness told the court about how the 3 JCF members on trial ignored reports from other inmates as Dean was being beaten. He said when Dean was being removed from the cell on a stretcher by paramedics, he was battered, bloody and unresponsive, adding that his face was swollen and had open wounds with blood flowing. He also testified that about 20 minutes after he observed a fellow inmate making trips to the bathroom with a bucket of water, the accused police trio went separately to his cell and told him not to say anything to investigators. Corporal Stewart, who has an additional charge of perverting the course of justice, allegedly instructed that the cell in which Dean was attacked be cleaned before the arrival of investigators from the Independent Commission of Investigations. The witness told the court that the 3 JCF members claimed they were afraid of losing their jobs. The witness said he assured them he would comply. Supreme Court Judge Justice Courtney Day is presiding over the long-awaited trial of the 3 JCF members who are all charged with manslaughter and misconduct in a public office in relation to Mario Dean's tragic death. George Davis for Nationwide News.
The Kingston West Police say they have conducted several raids across the division in response to ongoing gang conflicts. According to the police, the conflicts have resulted in several murders and shootings in the Kingston 13 area. The police say targeted raids were carried out on Wednesday at 4 separate locations in search of members of the Stinger and Front Sunlight Street gangs. On Tuesday, the police listed 18 individuals as persons of interest. They're urging the individuals to report to the Denham Town Criminal Investigations Branch by 6 p.m. on Thursday. According to the police, 3 of the raids on Wednesday targeted some of those on the list. They are Shadane Hines, otherwise called Nico, Kevin Harvey, who also goes by the name Brains or Shothead, and Kimar Fraser, otherwise called Pari. Hines is reportedly a person of interest in a murder case. Harvey is said to be a violence contributor in the area, and Fraser is also reportedly involved in a murder case. The police say the men were not found at the time of the raids. However, they note that a black Hi-Point 9mm rifle was seized. The Electoral Commission of Jamaica, ECJ, says it's unable to give a timeline for the completion of its work on the boundary adjustments required to transition Portmore into a parish. Director of Elections Glaspell Brown fielded questions from lawmakers at a meeting of Parliament's Constituency Boundaries Committee on Wednesday. Mahira Stewart tells us more.
The Director of Elections told Wednesday's sitting of Parliament's Constituency Boundaries Committee that work is already underway to carve out the new constituency boundaries for Portmore. According to Glaspell Brown, this includes geographic information systems and mapping work. Additional field work will be undertaken by what is called the Parish Boundary Advisory Committee.
We have started the work in terms of the preparation as was instructed, to apply what is known as the GIS technology, and field work. We are about to embark on the field work for the new boundary and generate the relevant maps. The ECJ guideline, as was agreed by the Commission, that it should be for boundary alignment, will guide the way we proceed going forward. Members, a key step involved the establishment of a formal procedure for reaching and recording Ward in agreement along with the establishment of what is known as the Parish Boundary Forum, or known as the PBF, which will be chaired by a senior returning officer from the parish. That person will be appointed by me, the Director of Election.
Mr. Brown says the fieldwork will also involve realigning the boundaries of the existing parish of St. Catherine and the newly designated Portmore Parish.
The fieldwork involves two primary objectives. First, we must investigate in the field the new St. Catherine and Portmore parish boundary. To achieve this accurately, our team will be physically walking the boundaries, accompanied by guides and key stakeholders. And secondly, it is critical that when we do that work, we capture GPS coordinates for the new polling division boundaries within the parishes of St. Catherine and Portmore. To establish these new boundaries, it necessitates a number of changes, and these changes encompass splits and mergers for existing polling division. It also will require the renumbering and potential renaming of St. Catherine constituencies affected by the alignment.
This will be the first time in independent Jamaica that a new parish will be designated. It will require the input of both major political parties, who will be asked to submit written proposals for the naming and numbering of the 3 designated Portmore constituencies. Disputes over the realigned boundaries must ultimately be settled by the independent commissioners of the ECJ. Mr. Brown says a report will then be submitted to the committee for final ratification. But the Director of Elections notes that a proper timeline for completion cannot be provided at this time due to the scope of the work.
There's a significant amount of work that needs to be done. We have not yet arrived, we have not finalized a timeline as such. We are working on those. As soon as those timelines are available, certainly when we come back on the 31st of May, we'll be able to provide the committee with a better indication of the timeline. But we are working on it. We have not agreed upon them yet, and therefore we are not able to definitely say the timeline.
Mahiri Stewart for Nationwide News.
At least 2 experts believe the budget, as outlined for the current fiscal year, should inspire confidence among investors. Vice President for Research and Strategy at Sagicor and Sagicor Investments, Jordan Harris, says that the budget provided a stable, predictable outlook upon which businesses can properly plan.
What we're liking from a business perspective some of the times is what we probably call a boring budget.
Yes.
In that there is no surprises that will come, and that helps in terms of the environment. So it helps when you're attracting capital. So if it is persons know that are going to a particular sector, next year or 2 years there isn't going to be some elaborate tax that comes that erodes some of the work that I've done, that helps. So that sort of keeping a stable framework is something that businesses look at, because it helps in terms of how it is that you do planning. It helps in terms of how it is that we do projections when we're valuing companies. And so from that end, the stability, the B for boring, it was still very good in terms of how it is that it will propel businesses to do well going forward.
Harris was speaking on Sagicor's Money Talks panel discussion hosted by Nationwide News on Wednesday. She was reacting to the recently concluded budget debate for the 2025-2026 fiscal year. The government used that opportunity to outline spending priorities, totaling $1.3 trillion for the period. Executive Vice President for Strategy and Business Development at Sagicor, Joanna Banks, says that she was pleased with the measured approach taken by the speakers in the budget debate.
I appreciate the focus that all parties had on long-term sustainability, on fiscal resilience, all these types of things and phrases that are now incredibly important today. And I think in the grand scheme of things, having a measured approach to the budget actually works in the current government's favor. But anybody who wins the next election, that is the same approach that I think would benefit the country as a whole.
Joanna Banks, Executive Vice President for Strategy and Business Development at Sagicor. Prime Minister Dr. Andrew Holness is warning persons who buy land from the Urban Development Corporation UDC to use it for the agreed purposes. He was speaking at the groundbreaking ceremony for the Raintree Commercial Complex at Ferry Pen in St. Catherine on Wednesday.
And I want to be clear to the people who have purchased or who intend to purchase that there is a performance clause in the sale agreement that if you do not do what you proposed in the sale when you purchased the land, then you would have violated that clause and the land would then return to the UDC at the sale price. I want to be very clear on that. This is not a speculative activity. If you intend to speculate, don't come here, because that would just defeat the purpose of this. The purpose of this is to get people employed, to generate new markets, and to give income to communities. It's not to make other people rich by doing nothing other than owning the land and sitting on it. I want to be clear on that.
Dr. Holness says the UDC's land bank is not intended to be a wealth-building tool for private citizens.
The UDC was established as a development entity, yes, but another part of it is that it must be a land bank for urban development. So the UDC should be scouting Jamaica and seeing where lands are available or properties available and acquire them in advance of the need for urban development. There are many persons who are looking on the UDC's land bank and saying the UDC has these lands, are not doing anything with them, they must divest them. The government shares that view, and we have given a directive that the UDC and other entities that hold land should seek to divest a certain percentage of it. It is not the intention of government to transfer lands to people, meaning for them to gain from the capital appreciation in the value of the land and do nothing with it. That's not what this is about.
Prime Minister Dr. Andrew Holness. And that's it for the local segment of the news. Up next, regional and international.
Want to reduce your high electricity bills? Then Peak Energy has the solution for you. From grid-tied to hybrid solar inverters with full lithium-ion battery pack. Installation and maintenance packages available. Visit us at Shop 1, 3 Mosquito Valley Road, Red Hill, St. Andrew. Call 876-279-8820 or 944-0668. Or email us at peakenergysolutionsja@gmail.com. Peak Energy for everything solar.
In regional and international news now, regional news, crews worked early Thursday to restore power to Puerto Rico after a blackout across the entire island that affected the main international airport, several hospitals and hotels filled with Easter vacationers. The outage that began after midday on Wednesday left 1.4 million customers without electricity and more than 300,000 without water. At least 175,000 customers, or 12%, had a power back at the end of the day. Officials expected 90% of customers to have power restored within 48 to 72 hours after the outage. The blackout snarled traffic, forced hundreds of businesses to close, and left those unable to afford generators scrambling to buy ice and candles. The U.S. government has threatened to ban Harvard University from enrolling foreign students. This comes after the institution said it would not bow to demands from President Donald Trump's administration and was hit with a funding freeze. The White House has demanded the oldest university in the U.S. change its hiring, admissions, and teaching practices to, quote, help fight anti-Semitism on campus. Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem has asked for records on what she called the illegal and violent activities of its foreign student visa holders. Harvard earlier said it had taken many steps to address anti-Semitism and that demands were an effort to regulate the university's intellectual conditions. The new request from Noem said the institution would lose the privilege of enrolling foreign students if it did not comply with the demands for records. And that's it for regional and international. Up next, sports.
Don't fall victim to deepfakes.
Watch out.
Protect yourself.
How are this
For
on my
more
TV?
information, visit broadcastingcommission.org or
Here ya,
scan
baby.
the QR code on screen.
Deepfake. No deepfake can't catch me.
Junior, you know say AI can make something will look and sound just like you? One day Junior get a voice note from her granny. Say the food done, the medication done, and she need money urgently.
Need money urgently. But Miss Pat no like ask people for things.
And as so comes, Judy get suspicious.
So what she do?
She asks the neighbor to go check pan her. Junior, the lady quite alright over there make her Sunday dinner.
So the voice note a deepfake.
Yes, my love. Come, your food ready.
Right now it look like we have to outsmart the AI. But wait, I really want dege dumpling here, give me.
Me I wonder if AI can make one deep fake dumpling for you.
To learn more about deepfakes, visit www.broadcastingcommission.org.
For all your electrical needs, visit ABC Electrical Sales. They stock a wide variety of electrical supplies including plugs, switches, panel boards and conduits, plus energy-saving fixtures. ABC Electrical Sales stocks brands like GE, Siemens, Philips, Cutler Hammer, and Allen Bradley. They also offer free island-wide delivery just to suit your needs. Visit them at Shop 8, Hagley Park Plaza, Kingston 10, or call 876-754-3714-5 or 876-754-3825-8. ABC Electrical Sales, for a better choice in the electrical business.
What makes a Burrito Bond so attractive?
We have a history of strong financial performance and growth, demonstrating resilience.
Our leverage remains low relative to our peers.
The bond is available in both Jamaican and US dollars, ranging from tenures between 2 to 10 years at attractive interest rates. Plus, it's expected to be listed, which will enhance liquidity for all investors.
Burrito Bonds are Burrito strong. Download our prospectus, call a Burrito advisor, and invest today.
Time now for your morning sports. West Indies women reached 193 for 5 after 41.4 overs at sports time, chasing 228 to beat Bangladesh in their ICC World Cup qualifier at the Gaddafi Stadium in Lahore, Pakistan. Jamaica's Stefani Taylor has so far top scored with 38. Captain Hayley Matthews made 33. Kiana Joseph, 31, and Sherman Campbell, 21. Earlier, the Bangladeshis were restricted to 227 for 9 in their 50 overs. Sharmin Akhtar made 67, and Alia Alain bagged 4 wickets for 39 runs. Matthews and Afi Fletcher picked up 2 each. The West Indies must win this game to keep alive any hopes of making it to the World Cup. Jamaica will be back in action in the West Indies Under-15 Cricket Championship on Thursday when they face Guyana at the Antigua Recreation Ground in St. John. The Jamaicans lost their opening game by 9 wickets to defending champions Barbados on Tuesday. In other second-round games, Barbados battles the Leeward Islands at Sir Vivian Richards Stadium, and the Windwards face Trinidad and Tobago at the Libertas Stadium. Jamaica's Andre Coley, who was recently removed as head coach of the West Indies Test team, has signed on to become a high-performance consultant with Bermuda ahead of the upcoming North American Cup. The inaugural tournament bowls off on Saturday with Bermuda facing Canada, United States, the Bahamas, and hosts Cayman Islands. Coley will work alongside Bermuda's head coach, Cal Waldron, as part of a partnership between the Bermuda Cricket Board and Cricket West Indies, CWI. Now, the battle for crucial playoff spots in the Wren-Nephew Jamaica Premier League continues on Thursday with a big doubleheader at Tony Spalding Complex. In the first game at 5 p.m., Racing FC will face defending champions Cavalier, while at 7:30 p.m., Arnott Gardens and Leaders Mount Pleasant will do battle. Racing are in 8th place on 48 points and will join Tivoli Gardens in 7th on 51 points, while Cavalier will remain 5th regardless of the outcome, but they'd move further away from those chasing the last 2 playoff spots. Arnott, on 67 points, are in a close battle with Mobay United for the second automatic semi-final place, and victory will move them 2 points closer. Over 400 swimmers from 24 countries are registered for the 38th Carifta Championships and Open Water Swim in Trinidad and Tobago from April 19 to 23. Jamaica's 30-member team is in TNT ahead of the championships. Member of the organizing committee, Jason Wickham, says all is in place for a successful hosting of the event.
We are actually in full preparation mode right now. Some of the teams have actually started arriving already. Right now I'm at the National Aquatic Center and we're just prepping the facilities to ensure it is in order for our guests. We have everything in place as it relates to logistics, hotels, lunch, meals, etc. for the athletes. So just looking forward to the start of competition on Saturday.
Wickham says organizers are aiming to get a 5-star rating from the participating countries.
Once our athletes are well taken care of and they enjoy the games, once our persons reach to the pool on time and they're pleased with their lunches, and once we create an atmosphere here that is a typical Trinidad and Tobago aquatic experience, we'll be pleased with that.
Jason Wickham wrapping up your morning sports.
Jamaica. Tickets for Arise 2025 are on sale again. Yes, it's the music celebration featuring the Hoppers, Gospel Proclaimers, Rhoda Isabella, Kerry Sales and others in National Arena. This coming Sunday, April 20th, 5 p.m. General admission only 5,000, 6,000 at the gate. VIP 9,000. Tickets at Source of Light. Music Mart SparOpen.com/Arise 2025. Bring the family and make we have a catawampa time. Sponsored by Precision Imaging Center.
In business this morning, the BBC is reporting that Chinese online retail giants Shein and Temu have warned U.S. customers that goods will get pricier from next week after President Donald Trump imposed hefty tariffs on goods from China. In almost identical statements, the rival companies said they have seen operating expenses rise due to recent changes in global trade rules and tariffs, adding they will make price adjustments from April 25. The shopping sites have gained tens of millions of customers in the U.S., attracted by their ultra-low prices. Their popularity has put pressure on Amazon, prompting it to launch a new platform called Haul last November, featuring items for under $20. Since returning to the White House in January, Trump has imposed taxes of up to 145% on imports from China. His administration said this week that when the new tariffs are added on to existing ones, the levies on some Chinese goods could reach 245%. Trump has also ended a duty-free exemption for goods worth less than $800, which helped Shein and Temu make rapid inroads to the U.S. market. Gas prices are going down this morning. Motorists will pay $3.06 less for a litre of 87-octane gasoline and 90-octane. The price of automotive diesel oil will go down by $3.06. Ultra-low sulfur diesel will also go down by $3.06. Propane cooking gas will go down, moving by 25 cents. Meanwhile, kerosene goes down by $3.06, and butane will be sold for 37 cents less. And finally, in foreign exchange trading this morning, the Jamaican dollar has lost 11 cents and will open trading today, selling for an average $158.67 against the benchmark U.S. dollar. The Jamaican dollar has gained $1.65 and will open trading this morning, selling for an average $115.28 against the Canadian. And finally, the Jamaican has also gained $2.26 and will open trading this morning, selling for an average $206.92 against the British pound. That's it for business this morning.
Clear your barrels and personal shipments with ease and convenience. Request a customs contactless clearance today through CCP at jca.gov.jm. The time by the Jamaica Customs Agency is
6:20. $6.29.
JUTC Smart Fare Card by May 31, 2025. The temperature brought to you by JUTC Smart Fare Card. Transforming your daily commute with smarter, easier, and more reliable travel is
26 degrees Celsius in capital city Kingston, 27 out west in Montego Bay, and 21 degrees Celsius in Mandeville.
Yo, my boss. Yo, my general. Yo, my king. The new BK Mega Stacker. Come for run everything. Choose your style. Double, triple, or quad stack. Juicy grilled beef. Plus crispy bacon, some stackerific sauce, and layers of melted cheese. So if you think you can angle it, stackify yourself today. Order the BK Mega Stacker and have it your way. The new BK Mega Stacker. Built for satisfaction. Limited time. Only at Burger King. Experience the joy of buying a brand new Hyundai without breaking the bank. Yes, buying a brand new car should never leave you broke. From stylish designs and safety features to comfortable driving and reliability, Hyundai is the choice. Hyundai vehicles come standard with 2 years free service and 5 years warranty and roadside assistance for your peace of mind. Drive 2 years without service cost and 5 years without fear of being stranded. Hyundai. Conditions apply.
Experience togetherness this Easter, embarking on a one-of-a-kind adults-only retreat in a world where swaying palms meet endless sunsets. All-inclusive indulgence awaits here at Hideaway at Royalton Blue Waters. Tap into an all-in luxury vacation experience when you book between April 1 to 30. Contact us. Dial 876-632-7401. That's 876-632-7401. Speak to your local sales agent today.
Love and hate can never be friends. Oh no, oh no. Here I come with love and not hatred. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow I all the days of our life. Envy no one, no wish to be with no evil man. For there'll come the day when you'll be whipped by the feathers and leave up roots children. Oh yeah, leave up pastor children. Yeah. My head is anointed and my cup runneth over. Yeah. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow I all the days of our life.
A very good morning to you. Good morning to you. You're tuned in to Nationwide this morning. Thank you so much for coming on over and joining us on our YouTube channel, Nationwide 90 FM Live 2. If you're joining us on radio, good morning to you as well. Good morning to our peeps listening from the app. If you haven't downloaded the app yet, you should go ahead and do so, because just in case you missed the show, you can always go back into the archives and load up that show that you missed and listen in. All the shows are uploaded to our app. So you can download the app from the Google Play Store or the App Store. And hello to the peeps that you go to the website, you're reading some of our stories, and you listen live from our website as well. Hello to all of you. Happy Thursday. I'm Tona Thomas.
I'm Sondre Roden. It's Monday, Thursday.
Yeah, Holy Thursday.
Holy Thursday. You know, I don't really know what makes a Thursday holy, but it's Holy Thursday.
Yeah. You know what I was asking, because I'm not versed in all of the things in relation to Easter, if every day symbolizes something different this week, you know, because you have tomorrow, which is Good Friday. So it's a Holy Week. So does every day symbolize something different? Today's Holy Thursday.
Yesterday was Ash Wednesday.
No, it was Holy Wednesday. Ash Wednesday gone already.
Oh, no. I thought it was Ash Wednesday.
It was Holy Wednesday, or I'm seeing here Spy Wednesday. And then tomorrow is Good Friday. So was there something to symbolize Tuesday and Monday? Yeah, for the people who are persuaded by Christianity, the Christian faith. Yeah, if you could let us know in the chat.
Now I'm confused.
If there's some symbolism, some meaning behind Monday and Tuesday. Since in my reading so far, I can
Easter
see
Monday.
there is for Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday.
Well, I know it's Easter Monday, it's Easter Sunday, and I don't know. I don't know the differences. I don't know the differences. I just know, Tana, that it's Holy Thursday and that tomorrow is Good Friday.
Yes.
I don't know what's on Saturday. I don't know. They miss Saturday on that one. Then it becomes Easter Sunday and Easter Monday. Mm-hmm. Probably normal Tuesday. You know, just get right back into it. But it is a time when, you know, Good Friday is a nice holiday. For those of us who like holidays, get to spend some time with the fam. And for those who are ardent celebrators, celebrating Easter, etc., you get to go to church another day and experience that Easter fellowship with your church family. Mm-hmm. For those who just get the time to spend it with their family, that's good too. I don't mind that at all. And for those who get to spend their time resting, that's even better. I don't mind it at all. I doubt I'll be resting, but let me just say, I think it's a good time to spend time with those you love.
Yeah, it's the final day of the work week for us. Tomorrow, Good Friday. We will be off on Monday as well, and return on Tuesday. So, folks, tomorrow, don't panic in the morning when you don't hear the newscast. I'm giving you a heads up from now that there will be no news tomorrow.
No NTM tomorrow.
No NTM tomorrow. So,
yeah.
But what's on your mind this morning?
Well, this morning, what's on my mind is confidence, not the kind that shows up in flashy headlines, but the quiet, powerful kind that lives in the hearts of ordinary Jamaicans. Consumer confidence in Jamaica has hit an all-time high. We're talking about a record-breaking 183.7 points, and that's in the first quarter of 2025. That's not just a number, or 2024, it's a signal, a pulse check. And what it tells me is that Jamaicans believe in their future again. And more importantly, they believe in themselves. What makes this surge of confidence so important and even more striking, it's where it's coming from. It's not the big corporations that are driving this wave. It's the people. In the absence of, some would say widespread job creation in some respects, in some companies, in some industries. Jamaicans are building their own doors where none existed. From the hills of St. Anne to the streets of Montego Bay to the hustle and the bustle of Kingston City, people are creating their side hustles. There are small businesses, there are digital ventures. When you go around the place, people are even making money on TikTok. We're seeing even younger people turning tourism into opportunity, artisans reviving their cultural crafts, and self-employed people redefining what it means to thrive in this Jamaican economy. This is what we'd call grassroots innovation. And it's not driven by handouts, it's not driven by the hype, it's driven by the hustle and by the resilience of the Jamaican people and by our just unshakable willpower to, what we'd say, turn your hand and make fashion. So here's what we often miss. This movement isn't new. It's just how it's being shown in this time period. So normally you'd say, well, the informal economy is sidelined. Well, it's long been sidelined. It's referred to as irregular, sometimes unproductive. But now, in many households, the informal economy, as we call it, has been keeping some households afloat and injecting hope into communities. What's even better is that a lot of this informal economy, based on the numbers we're seeing from the Companies Office of Jamaica, has been becoming formal over time because businesses are seeing more benefits in the economy. And that fuels this newfound confidence. So in this time, I think it's time to change the narrative a bit, where a jerk pan man, a woman braiding hair, a youth that does graphic design from his phone, these are not Jamaicans who are just a part of a different side of an economy. No, these are entrepreneurs that are willing and ready to take risks in our economy. As a matter of fact, they are nation builders in a way that's important to our economic growth, and they're important contributors to GDP in more ways than we think. So let's zoom in for a moment. Consumer confidence isn't just a domestic indicator. It signals to the international community as well, to investors, to rating agencies, to development partners who are looking closely at this index, that it's not just stable, that our economy is stable, but our people are believing in this stable economy. It's that we are now ambitious, because the last time it was this high was 2019. That's prior to the pandemic. And now it has now outdone our pre-pandemic figures. So locally, it's shaping how our businesses decide to expand, how our government decides to shape policy. And this is like a silent vote of belief in the country's direction. And yes, the Jamaican people, based on this index, have voted yes. So while some businesses may be cautious based on other things happening in the international fore, and while we do have some structural gaps, we have to admit that the confidence of the Jamaican people, the consumer confidence that is, sends a clear message to local viewers and international viewers that Jamaica is open for progress. And guess what? People aren't waiting for permission anymore. So while consumers are soaring with optimism, we can be sure that there are more persons looking at entrepreneurship. So yes, we have job creation happening. Yes, we have unemployment rate being very low. But when we look far and wide, we can see that persons are now willing to take risks, to go into businesses, and to not only be the employed, but in many respects to be the employer. So what do we do in this moment, Tana? We should harness it. We must ask ourselves, will policymakers respond with the kind of agility that people need to see this shift, to ensure that there's an empowerment of micro and small businesses in a way that we've never seen before in this country? And yes, we've been having many interviews about the road show, and we've seen the job by the Ministry of Industry, Investment and Commerce. But guess what? More needs to be done. More needs to be done because now when we see these figures, we can be sure that Jamaicans are willing to take the risk, to take the hustle, to formalize that hustle and build and boost the economy from the ground up. So what I'm saying to you, consumer confidence is not just a good headline. It's a national asset. And right now, the greatest investment we can make as a country is in our people who have already chosen to invest in themselves. And that's what's on my mind, that Jamaica is not a country that we can look at anymore and say, wow, what's happening? No, we're rising. We're rising not from the top down, but from the ground up.
The Ministry of Justice offers free counseling to victims of crime. Call 876-946-0663. The time by the Ministry of Justice is
6:45.
JPS and Partners Cooperative Credit Union offers financial solutions for every stage in your life: savings, auto loans, mortgages, and more. The temperature by JPS and Partners Cooperative Credit Union, your financial partner for life, is
26 degrees Celsius in Kingston, 27 degrees Celsius out in Montego Bay, and 21 degrees Celsius in the cool hills of Mandeville.
For all your electrical needs, visit ABC Electrical Sales. They stock a wide variety of electrical supplies, including plugs, switches, panel boards, and conduits, plus energy-saving fixtures. ABC Electrical Sales stocks brands like GE, Siemens, Philips, Cutler Hammer, and Allen Bradley. They also offer free island-wide delivery just to suit your needs. Visit them at Shop 8, Hagley Park Plaza, Kingston 10, or call 876-754-3714-5 or 876-754-3825-8. ABC Electrical Sales, for a better choice in the electrical business.
New KFC Saucy Wings. Attention all wings lovers. KFC Saucy Wings with 2 new flavors. Mango habanero and buffalo. Spicy. KFC we have saucy wings. Delicious. Spicy the best. So a new KFC Saucy Wings crunch the rest. Nobody does wings like KFC. New Saucy Wings is for me.
New KFC Saucy Wings. Delicious, hot, and spicy wings tossed in savory mango habanero or buffalo sauce. Wings that will crunch the rest. New KFC Saucy Wings. It's finger licking good.
We're back with you, and of course, what time is it? It is that time when you'll hear from Ludlow McLean, what's happening out there on the streets. Good morning, Ludlow.
Morning, Tondre, and Ton is there.
Hey to you, Ludlow. Good morning.
Morning time to you, everyone there in the studios, our motoring public, and our commuting public, the travelers, the visitors, everyone. But look here, yesterday it was so gloomy, and lots of cloud above. Today, this morning, it's really bright and sunny. And guess what? The vehicular movement is not too bad at this time. I'm not so sure if it's going to peak at 7:15, 7 thereabout. But so far, it's not looking too bad. The major ones, the Washington Boulevard from 6 miles, from 6 miles towards 3 miles, it's really good movement, good movement, a little stop and go, yes, but it's good movement. Good movement going through Waterhouse, whether they're taking Henley Road or Penwood Road. Bay Farm Road is not looking too bad either. Going to go across to Seaward Drive, it is also good. Olympic Way, pretty good movement all the way down towards Hagley Park Road. And if you're on Newark Avenue to go across Keezing Avenue, and Keezing Avenue is actually, Newark Avenue is actually off Walton Park Road. It takes you across to Hagley Park Road, right? But be careful at that intersection of Keezing Avenue and Newark Avenue. There is a stop sign. A lot of vehicles tend to, just go straight across, but you need to make a stop there. So it's not too bad in that space. So if you're making it up to half a tree via Hagley Park Road, it is not too bad. Also, good vehicular movement. Movement is that the direction. What's happening in Richmond Park? Normally, Richmond Park Avenue, Queens Avenue has a lot of traffic, but it's moving also, so you can make your way there, and that will take you across to Maxfield Avenue, and then across the Lyndhurst Road, and it's not too bad there either. So the movement is not too bad. Let's see what happens at about 7:18 when we expect more vehicular flow. But we'll tell you all about it come 7:18. Back to you, Sondre.
Thank you so much, Ludlow. That, of course, was Ludlow McLean telling us what's happening out there on our streets in Street Smart.
Your word of the day is spelled MYSOPHOBIA. Your word of the day is spelled MYSOPHOBIA. This looks like mysophobia.
Mysophobia.
Mysophobia is your word of the day. Mysophobia, also known as germophobia or contamination phobia. The meaning is an intense, irrational fear of germs, dirt, and contamination. Mysophobia, also known as germophobia or contamination phobia, is an intense, irrational fear of germs, dirt, and contamination. You know, I wonder if anybody developed mysophobia during COVID.
Yeah, I think that's the time it was cultivated.
Yeah.
And a lot of people, you know, some people just fear germs, but there are some people who became like massive germophobes. Like there are sometimes some people are walking and they scorned you just opening a door for them and
you couldn't
stuff like
sneeze.
Yeah, it was a time. It was a time.
The social distancing. You're in a supermarket line and somebody is too close to you.
Yeah.
And people get really edgy.
Yeah.
Like, please stand on the sticker.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
So mysophobia is your word of the day. The definition again, an intense, irrational fear of germs, dirt, and contamination.
Yeah. They
I wouldn't say
some are still wearing masks.
I do see people still in masks, which should be normalized. I don't think we have to be in a pandemic or something of that nature for people to wear a mask, especially when you have the flu, you have a cold, you're in a space with a lot of people, you put on a mask.
Yeah.
That should become, by nature, by default. Whenever you're ill, wear one.
Yeah, I don't know how the doctors do it, and I say to my friends who are doctors all the time that I don't envy you because it was so painstaking. I prefer not to go out. It was painstaking just to have on the mask for such long hours. Oh my gosh, to feel the elastic in the back of your ears. You're like, nah. I used to just want to rush home. I was so excited to just rush home to take the mask off.
I used to just step away from my office space for a little bit, go outside, walk a bit. So I'd take it off at that point. Get some fresh air and all of that. Then when I'm coming back in, mask on.
Up, yeah. But it was quite a time. I know a lot of people in our chat would have become misophobes.
Yeah. But that is your word of the day. Spelt again, MYSOPHOBIA. Mysophobia. Up next, your features at the top of the hour of the news.
Dementia is a term used to describe a group of symptoms affecting memory, thinking, and social abilities severely enough to interfere with your daily life. It isn't a specific disease, but several diseases can cause dementia. Though dementia generally involves memory loss has different causes. Having memory loss alone doesn't mean you have dementia, although it's often one of the early signs of the condition. Alzheimer's disease is the most common cause of a progressive dementia in older adults, but there are a number of other causes of dementia. Depending on the cause, some dementia symptoms might be reversible. In Coming of Age today, we'll discuss the different types of dementia. Dementia is caused by damage to or loss of nerve cells and their connections in the brain. Depending on the area of the brain that's damaged, dementia can affect people differently and cause different symptoms. Dementias are often grouped by what they have in common, such as the protein or proteins deposited in the brain or the part of the brain that's affected. Some diseases look like dementia, such as those caused by a reaction to medications or vitamin deficiencies, and they might improve with treatment. Alzheimer's disease is the most common type of dementia. On their YouTube channel, Opal Healthcare, an institution which focuses on support and care for the elders, outlines the signs and symptoms of Alzheimer's disease.
In the early stages of Alzheimer's disease, symptoms may be very subtle. You may notice lapses in memory and difficulty in finding the right words for everyday objects. Symptoms can fluctuate and can become worse at times of stress. Other symptoms may include forgetting well-known people or places, deterioration in social skills, loss of enthusiasm for previously enjoyed activities, and emotional unpredictability.
Another type is vascular dementia. This type of dementia is caused by damage to the vessels that supply blood to your brain. Blood vessel problems can cause strokes or affect the brain in other ways, such as damaging the fibers in the white matter of the brain. Another type is Lewy bodies dementia. These are abnormal balloon-like clumps of protein that have been found in the brains of people with Lewy body dementia, Alzheimer's disease, and Parkinson's disease. This is one of the more common types of progressive dementia. And the third type is frontotemporal dementia. This is a group of diseases characterized by the breakdown of nerve cells and their connections in the frontal and temporal lobes of the brain. These are the areas generally associated with personality, behavior, and language. Common symptoms affect behavior, personality, thinking, judgment, language, and movement. And finally, mixed dementia. Autopsy studies of the brains of people 80 and older who had dementia indicate that many had a combination of several causes, such as Alzheimer's disease, vascular dementia, and Lewy body dementia. Studies are ongoing to determine how
diabetes.
Fearless and fair, Nationwide 90 FM.
Diabetes is among the list of chronic illnesses in Jamaica. For many of you, it's not as easy to deal with, especially in children. Hi, I'm Tana, and today on Lifestyle Pages, ideal foods for a child with diabetes. Healthy snacks are important for kids with diabetes. When deciding what snacks to give your child, incorporate all food groups. Have them try a low-fat cracker and all-natural peanut butter. Add some yogurt to their diet. Make sure it's low-fat and no sugar. As far as fruits are concerned, they can have melon, orange, and grapes. Remember, a snack isn't a snack if your child doesn't eat the next meal. They might not like new foods at first, so be the example you want your child to mirror. That was your Lifestyle Pages. I'm Tana.
Nationwide 90 FM, continuing the tradition of fair, fearless, and factual reporting.
Jamaica, let's make road safety a priority. Slow down, stay focused. Remember, every life matters. The time brought to you by the JIS is...
News time, 7 o'clock.
If you need to build it, plumb it, weld it, pave it, or power it, National Supply has it. Get the best brands for the job at Jamaica's Industrial Hardware Superstore, Kingston Normal Bay. The temperature by National Supply is...
26 degrees Celsius in Kingston, 27 degrees Celsius in Montego Bay, 21 degrees Celsius in Mandeville.
The most credible news in the morning. The news at 7 on Nationwide 90 FM.
Coming up in the news at 7 this morning, Thursday, April 17, 2025, a holy Thursday we hope it will be. Witness identifies Mario Dean as new prisoner housed with inmates with mental challenges. West Kingston police conduct several raids in response to ongoing gang conflict. ECJ says it's unable to commit to a timeline for the completion of Portmore boundary adjustment work. And in international news, Trump says termination of Federal Reserve Chairman can't come fast enough.
News at 7 is brought to you by Hyundai. Modern, premium, affordable vehicles.
If it's news, it's got to be Nationwide 90 FM.
Now to the details. The Crown's eighth witness in the Mario Dean trial continued his gripping testimony about the day in August 2014 when Dean was beaten to death while in police custody. The witness was also in custody at the Barnett Street Police lockup at the time of the incident. He told the Westmoreland Circuit Court on Wednesday that the inmate was placed in one cell and then removed to a cell that had three inmates who were struggling with mental illnesses. In court on Wednesday, the witness identified Mario Dean from a photo shown on a document as the person he referred to as the new prisoner during his testimony in chief on Tuesday. The witness who was convicted is the Crown's eighth witness in the trial of District Constable Marlon Grant, Corporal Elaine Stewart, and Constable Juliana Clevon. He testified that the image looks like Mario Dean, the prisoner that was brought in by Corporal Stewart and Constable Clevons, whom he referred to as Indian and D.C. Grant, otherwise called Shortman. According to the witness, the three accused JCF members first put Dean in cell number 1 on the first floor at the Barnett Street Police lockup in Montego Bay, St. James, but he was taken from that cell when he was offered bail. A previous witness had testified that Dean was denied bail after making the comment, quote, "That is why I don't like the police, you know." End quote. According to the latest Crown witness, after Dean was denied bail, he was brought back to the lockup and placed in cell number 4, which housed those inmates with mental challenges. The man further testified that he attended a witness parade on September 13 where he identified Shortman and Indian. He also told the court that following the August 3 incident, he spoke with the 3 police personnel, the former police commissioner, Dr. Carl Williams, and a government minister. During his gripping testimony on Tuesday, the witness told the court about how the 3 JCF members on trial ignored reports from other inmates as Dean was being beaten. He said when Dean was being removed from the cell on a stretcher by paramedics, he was battered, bloody, and unresponsive, adding that his face was swollen and had open wounds with blood flowing. He also testified that about 20 minutes after he observed a fellow inmate making trips to the bathroom with a bucket of water, the accused police trio went separately to his cell and told him not to say anything to investigators. Corporal Stewart, who has an additional charge of perverting the course of justice, allegedly instructed that the cell in which Dean was attacked be cleaned before the arrival of investigators from the Independent Commission of Investigations. The witness told the court that the 3 JCF members claimed they were afraid of losing their jobs. The witness said he assured them he would comply. Supreme Court Judge Justice Courtney Day is presiding over the long-awaited trial of the 3 JCF members who are all charged with manslaughter and misconduct in a public office in relation to Mario Dean's tragic death. George Davis for Nationwide News. On to another story now. The Kingston West Police say they've conducted several raids across the division in response to ongoing gang conflicts. According to the police, the conflicts have resulted in several murders and shootings in the Kingston 13 area. The police say targeted raids were carried out on Wednesday at 4 separate locations in search of members of the Stinger and Front Sunlight Street gangs. On Tuesday, the police listed 18 individuals as persons of interest. They're urging them to report to the Denham Town Criminal Investigations Branch by 6 p.m. on Thursday. According to the police, 3 of the raids on Wednesday targeted some of those on the list. They are Shadane Hines, otherwise called Nico, Kevin Harvey, also called Brains or Shothead, and Kemar Fraser, otherwise called Pari. Hines is reportedly a person of interest in a murder case. Harvey is said to be a violence contributor in the area, and Fraser is also reportedly involved in a murder case. The police say the men were not found at the time of the raids. However, they note that a black .9mm rifle was seized. The Electoral Commission of Jamaica ECJ says it's unable to give a timeline for the completion of its work on the boundary adjustments required to transition Portmore into a parish. Director of Elections Glasspool Brown fielded questions from lawmakers at a meeting of Parliament's Constituency Boundaries Committee on Wednesday. Mahiri Stewart tells us more.
The Director of Elections told Wednesday's sitting of Parliament's Constituency Boundaries Committee that work is already underway to carve out the new constituency boundaries for Portmore. According to Glasspool Brown, this includes geographic information systems and mapping work. Additional field work will be undertaken by what is called the Parish Boundary Advisory Committee.
We have started the work in terms of the preparation as was instructed, to apply what is known as the GIS technology, and field work. We are about to embark on the field work for the new boundary and generate the relevant maps. The ECJ guideline, as was agreed by the Commission that it should be for boundary alignment, will guide the way we proceed going forward. Members, the key step involved the establishment of a formal procedure for reaching and recording agreements, along with the establishment of what is known as the Parish Boundary Forum, or known as the PBF, which will be chaired by a senior returning officer from the parish. That person will be appointed by me, the Director of Election.
Mr. Brown says the fieldwork will also involve realigning the boundaries of the existing parish of St. Catherine and the newly designated Portmore Parish.
The fieldwork involves 2 primary objectives. First, we must investigate in the field the new St. Catherine and Portmore parish boundary. To achieve this accurately, our team will be physically walking the boundaries, accompanied by guides and key stakeholders. And secondly, it is critical that when we do that work, we capture GPS coordinates for the new polling division boundaries within the parishes of St. Catherine and Portmore. To establish these new boundaries, it necessitates a number of changes, and these changes encompass splits and mergers for existing polling division. It also will require the renumbering and potential renaming of St. Catherine constituencies affected by the alignment.
This will be the first time in independent Jamaica that a new parish will be designated. It will require the input of both major political parties, who will be asked to submit written proposals for the naming and numbering of the 3 designated Portmore constituencies. Disputes over the realigned boundaries must ultimately be settled by the independent commissioners of the ECJ. Mr. Brown says a report will then be submitted to the committee for final ratification. But the Director of Elections notes that a proper timeline for completion cannot be provided at this time due to the scope of the work.
There's a significant amount of work that needs to be done. We have not yet arrived, we have not finalized a timeline as such. We are working on those. As soon as those timelines are available, certainly when we come back on the 31st of May, we'll be able to provide the committee with a better indication of the timeline. But we are working on it. We have not agreed upon them yet, and therefore we are not able to definitely say the timeline.
Mahiri Stewart for Nationwide News.
3 of the country's business groups are urging the local business sector to be innovative as the world grapples with tariffs recently imposed by the United States. The call was issued on Wednesday in a joint release by the heads of the Private Sector Organization of Jamaica, the Jamaica Chamber of Commerce, and the Jamaica Manufacturers and Exporters Association. Chevron Campbell tells us more.
The world is still attempting to adjust to the new realities surrounding global trade due to shifting U.S. policies. The World Trade Organization, WTO, expects global trade to contract due to the impact of recently announced tariffs and heightened trade policy uncertainty. Further news from the chairman of the U.S. Federal Reserve also warns of a potential fallout in terms of increased consumer prices and higher inflation. Local business leaders are similarly calling on their fellow entrepreneurs to prepare for the changes ahead. A joint statement from the PSOJ, JCC, and JMEA warns that global trade policy is entering a period of dynamic realignment driven by evolving U.S. trade measures. It says ripple effects from the recently imposed tariffs will be felt across local export sectors, supply chains, and domestic markets. A 10% baseline tariff was imposed by President Donald Trump on all exports to the United States. The leaders note that Jamaica does not appear to be disadvantaged as the tariffs applied remain low. However, the leaders say pressure points for local exporters are anticipated, including buyer uncertainty and tighter margins. They say, in the climate of unpredictability, opportunity exists for those prepared to act decisively. Siobhan Campbell for Nationwide News.
Thank you, Siobhan. At least two experts believe the budget as outlined for the current fiscal year should inspire confidence among investors. Vice President for Research and Strategy at Sagicor Investments, Jodian Aries, says the budget provided a stable, predictable outlook upon which businesses can plan properly.
What we're liking from a business perspective some of the times is what we probably call a boring budget.
Yes.
In that there is no surprises that will come. And, that helps in terms of the environment. So it helps when you're attracting capital. So if it is persons know that are going to a particular sector, next year or 2 years, there isn't going to be some elaborate tax that comes that erodes some of the work that I've done that helps. So that sort of keeping a stable framework is something that businesses look at because it helps in terms of how it is that you do planning. It helps in terms of how it is that we do projections when we're valuing companies. And so from that end, the stability, the B for boring, it was still very good in terms of how it is that it will propel businesses to do well going forward.
Aries was speaking on Sagicor's Money Talks panel discussion hosted by Nationwide News on Wednesday. She was reacting to the recently concluded budget debate for the 2025-26 fiscal year. The government used that opportunity to outline spending priorities totaling $1.3 trillion. Executive Vice President for Strategy and Business Development at Sagicor, Joanna Banks, says she was pleased with the measured approach taken by the speakers in the budget debate.
I appreciate the focus that all parties had on long-term sustainability, on fiscal resilience, all these types of things and phrases that are now incredibly important today. And I think in the grand scheme of things, having a measured approach to the budget actually works in the current government's favor, but anybody who wins the next election, that is the same approach that I think would benefit the country as a whole.
Joanna Banks, Executive Vice President for Strategy and Business Development at Sagicor Jamaica. Prime Minister Dr. Andrew Holness is warning persons who buy land from the Urban Development Corporation UDC to use it for the agreed purposes. He was speaking at the groundbreaking ceremony for the Raintree Commercial Complex at Ferry Pen in St. Catherine on Wednesday.
And I want to be clear to the people who have purchased or who intend to purchase that there is a performance clause in the sale agreement, that if you do not do what you proposed in the sale, when you purchase the land, then you would have violated that clause, and the land would then return to the UDC at the sale price. I want to be very clear on that. This is not a speculative activity. If you intend to speculate, don't come here, because that would just defeat the purpose of this. The purpose of this is to get people employed, to generate new markets, and to give income to communities. It's not to make other people rich by doing nothing other than owning the land and sitting on it. I want to be clear on that.
Dr. Holness says the UDC's land bank is not intended to be a source for wealth building for private citizens.
The UDC was established as a development entity, yes, but another part of it is that it must be a land bank for urban development. So the UDC should be scouting Jamaica and seeing where lands are available or properties available and acquire them in advance of the need for urban development. There are many persons who are looking on the UDC's land bank and saying the UDC has these lands and not doing anything with them, they must divest them. The government shares that view, and we have given a directive that the UDC and other entities that hold land should seek to divest a certain percentage of it. It is not the intention of government to transfer lands to people, meaning for them to gain from the capital appreciation in the value of the land and do nothing with it. That's not what this is about.
Prime Minister Dr. Andrew Holness. Jamaica's world-famous Duns River Falls and the park in Ocho St. Anne is set for a major upgrade. Chairman of the Urban Development Corporation, UDC, Norman Brown, made the announcement at Wednesday's contract signing and groundbreaking ceremony for the Raintree Commercial Complex at Ferry Pen in St. Catherine.
When we got the consultants in to look at Duns River, they told us that they have done the design and construction for several attractions across the Caribbean, and there's none like ours, like Duns River. Second to none, naturally. But we are being outperformed by every other area. We probably a revenue of about 9-10 million US from Duns River. There are lesser islands in the Caribbean that does $40 to $50 million a year.
Yes.
And attract much more cruise ship passengers and so on. So we want to ensure that we reclaim our spot by putting in other amenities.
The iconic Duns River Falls, one of the country's most popular tourist attractions, is owned by the UDC and managed through its entity, the St. Anne Development Company Limited. Brown, who was speaking on Cliff Hughes Online, says the upgrade will also benefit craft vendors.
The craft vendors in which are nervous about development.
Very nervous is not on the stage, Sir Norman.
But I would say to them, the opportunities are coming because we want to increase the traffic into Duns River, probably by about 200% of the cruise ships and otherwise. Now that means there'll be more customers for them, more business for them as well. So they need now to look at their offerings and to make it differentiated from other places.
Norman Brown, Chairman of Urban Development Corporation, the UDC. Overseas news now. U.S. President Donald Trump on Thursday launched a stinging attack on Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell, saying, quote, his termination cannot come fast enough, end quote. The hint at a potential dismissal of the central bank leader was made in an early morning post on Trump's Truth Social media platform. It comes one day after Powell warned that the Fed could face a difficult trade-off as tariffs raise prices and weaken the U.S. economy. Trump's post rehashes long-held grievances about Powell's leadership of the U.S. Central Bank, namely that he's not lowering interest rates quickly enough and therefore failing to stimulate the economy. There has long been speculation that Trump would try to remove Powell from his Fed position in what would be significant interference in an institution that has jealously guarded its independence. Powell has previously said that the president does not have the authority to sack him. That's the news.
News at 7 was brought to you by Hyundai. Modern, premium, affordable vehicles.
Sign up for the JN Money Card. It's safe, convenient, and free. The time by JN Money is
7:18.
Rent or buy your hurricane supplies from Total Tools. Visit 102 Main Street, Ocho-Rios, 34 Slipe Road, Kingston 5, or Lot C6, Drax Hall, St. Anne's Bay. The temperature brought to you by Total Tools Jamaica is
26 degrees Celsius in Kingston, 27 degrees Celsius in Montego Bay, 21 degrees Celsius in Mandeville.
Come to Stewart's Hardware 2-day spring super sale. Friday, April 25th and Saturday, April 26th. 2 days filled with super discounts. Get cement, steel, tiles, blocks, paint, plumbing, power tools, and lots more at super sweet prices. You simply can't afford to miss Stewart's Hardware spring sale. That's April 25th and 26th. There'll be fantastic savings just for you. Stewart's Hardware and Home Center. Building values.
You ever get bun yet? The bun was sweet you so much you can't resist. Me not talk about heartbreak. Me talk about the bun with full of spice, raisin, and the perfect glaze. Mother's Bakery Easter bun. This is the bun where everybody need this Easter. If you don't get bun, you not live life right. Mother's Bakery Easter bun. Get the best type of bun from the right people. Mother's Bakery Easter bun. The bun you have to get with love in every bite. Available in select supermarkets.
When I got my first traffic ticket, I forgot to pay it within 30 days, and I had to go to court. Thank God I went, because if I didn't show, I would have been arrested. Pay your ticket early and avoid penalties. If you have questions or concerns, contact the Jamaica Constabulary Forces Traffic Ticket Processing Unit via WhatsApp at 876-0270 or call 876-928-1162 or email ttpu@jcf.gov.jm. A message from the Ministry of National Security.
Time now for Street Smarts 2 with Ludlow McLean. Good morning, Ludlow.
Morning, George. Morning, Senor Jorge.
Yeah, man.
You know that name, Jorge?
Yes, man.
Anyway, the situation, though, still bright and sunny. The movement is good. Those of you coming out of Kingston, 9 Manor, Stony Hill, Old Stony Hill Road, onto Manor Park, via Constant Spring Road. Pretty good movement. Olivia Road, the movement is good. Shorter Road, all the way down to connect with Shorter than Upper Waterloo, good vehicular movement. A little bit of build up along Constant Spring Road there and the intersection of Shorter Road there, but going straight down southbound along Constant Spring Road, the movement is good. It's not too bad even along Waterloo Road, but once you get to Waterloo, Trafalgar, you're going to have some traffic there. Hope Road in both directions, good movement. And if you're going across Trafalgar onto Auburn Road, Trafalgar onto North Boulevard, Trafalgar to Lady Musgrave Road, the movement is good. It means that it's not too bad. Let's see what happens about beyond the support, but definitely the movement is good in most areas right now. But remember, Mandela carries the traffic, but it's not too bad. I can tell you there's gaps along Washington Boulevard, especially from 6 miles, going all the way until you get maybe a past the vicinity of Daytona and Washington Boulevard and going further up. But it's not too bad. You can make your way. Good time to travel. And let's see what happens come beyond 7:20 or 7:30. But so far, so good. It's over to you, George, for the continuation of your program.
Thank you, Ludlow. Ludlow there with Street Smarts. So the last one before the Easter break. Front page, Sondre, Torna, up next. Front Page is brought to you today by ABC Electrical Sales, for a better choice in the electrical business. For all your electrical needs, visit ABC Electrical Sales. They stock a wide variety of electrical supplies including plugs, switches, panel boards and conduits, plus energy-saving fixtures. ABC Electrical Sales stocks brands like GE, Siemens, Philips, Cutler Hammer and Allen Bradley. They also offer free island-wide delivery just to suit your needs. Visit them at Shop 8, Hagley Park Plaza, Kingston 10, or call 876-754-3714-5 or 876-754-3825-8. ABC Electrical Sales, for a better choice in the electrical business.
Welcome back to Nationwide this morning. You're now tuned into our discussion segment, The Front Page. On the front page this morning, gauging more reactions to the latest consumer and business confidence survey. So consumer confidence in the Jamaican economy has risen to an all-time high in the first quarter of 2025, but business confidence over the period has fallen. That's according to the latest results of the Jamaica Chamber of Commerce Business and Consumer Confidence Survey published on Tuesday. The survey was conducted by Market Research Services Limited, led by CEO and pollster Don Anderson. Siobhan Campbell has that story.
As tensions in global trade rise, confidence in the Jamaican economy saw bittersweet results for the first quarter of 2025. CEO of Market Research Services Limited and pollster Don Anderson says consumer confidence has risen to a record high, continuing an upward trend over the last 4 years.
For the first quarter of 2025, we saw consumer confidence reaching an all-time high. It moved up by 5 percentage points, and the index was 183.7, which represents the highest in the history of the business and consumer confidence study. The previous peak was just prior to COVID, when it was 183.4, and therefore what we're seeing has been a gradual increase in business, in consumer confidence. We can see that chart, which talks to you in terms of dips, yes, but a gradual and progressive increase in consumer confidence up to now, where it is now peaking at 183.7.
Mr. Anderson says this was driven primarily by positive expectations surrounding changes in household income. This was particularly prominent in areas closely related to tourism. However, Mr. Anderson says business confidence fell off in the first quarter of 2025. This follows a significant increase at the close of 2024. According to the pollster, comparing the two periods suggests a leveling off in business sentiment.
In the first quarter of 2025, business confidence went back to its leveler. It fell by 11 percentage points and therefore moved back down to 132.5 from a position of about 149 index in the fourth quarter of 2024. So it has come back. Now, we were speculating in January period when we reported on the significant increase that there was a whole heap of hype surrounding that Christmas period, that a number of things that had taken place that had pushed business confidence up by 12 percentage points, and we were anxious to see what this first quarter data would show. And therefore, if you wish, that fourth quarter is an outlier. It went up to 149% thereabouts.
Mr. Anderson says of particular concern to businesses is the impact of the ongoing trade war and other matters surrounding the election of U.S. President Donald Trump.
One very important factor that has taken place between then and now, of course, is taking of office of the new President of the United States. What impact? We don't have a direct correlation to measure it, but the sort of argument and anecdotal evidence is that perhaps this is a factor that is driving this kind of sentiment. The economy, 40% believe the economy is going to get better, which is not a bad number, but it does pale in comparison to that 50% a quarter before. So this is first quarter reflecting upon all that has taken place globally during January, February, and March. And we asked them the same question, well, what are the reasons, what are the things that are driving this kind of negative thinking? High prices for goods and services, supply chain problems, trade war in the U.S.
Approximately 600 people were surveyed alongside 111 businesses in a nationwide representative sample over the period. It remains to be seen how the remainder of 2025 fares for both consumers and businesses. Siobhan Campbell for Nationwide News.
For reactions this morning, we're joined by President of Jamaica Hotel and Tourist Association, JHTA, Robin Russell, and the President of the MSME Alliance, Antoinette Hamilton. Good morning to you both.
Good morning, and good morning to your listeners. Good morning.
Okay, good. We have you both. So I want to start with you, Robin Russell, and I want to ask you off the bat, what factors, particularly in the tourism sector, do you believe would have driven this optimism, particularly by our consumers?
There's been a lot of work done over the last, I would think, 8 years in explaining to people what linkages is, which is an opportunity for persons to earn off of tourism. So there are 4 million people coming to Jamaica. How do we produce products? How do we produce services that can cater to these people? There's been a message out there that tourism is more than just persons who work in the hotels. And I think the message is finally hitting home. We've seen the excitement when you come to the expos now, where persons are coming and saying, look, I want to produce a product for export, but we're not going to America to export it. We're just going to sell it to tourism, and those people will purchase it. So I think that is where the confidence is coming from, that more persons are seeing the opportunity, not only in manufacturing, but even in a simple thing like farming. You know, persons are now farming more and producing more stuff, and it is showing in this report.
The data, Antoinette, shows that indeed what Robin is saying, that there is an entrepreneurial drive. So a lot of consumers who are venturing out on their own, finding the opportunities and turning to different business prospects. But for those who are already business owners, who are already entrepreneurs, in terms of the business confidence aspect, the data is showing that that business confidence has fallen. And I wanted to ask you, as the president of the MSME Alliance, what do you believe has led to this tempering of enthusiasm among those in the business sector? But we're up on the break. We're going to take a break and come back with your response to that.
Give up every illegal gun. Call the police at 119 or Crime Stop at 311. The time by the Ministry of National Security is...
It's 7:30.
Fix up with Fleetwood products for your home improvement, personal care, and aromatherapy needs. They have your well-being in mind. Available at retailers island-wide. The temperature by Fleetwood Jamaica is...
It's 26 degrees Celsius in Kingston, 27 degrees Celsius in Montego Bay, and 21 degrees Celsius in Mandeville.
Upgrade your home or business with Cameron Industries and Joinery Limited. Explore a range of termite-resistant plywood, quartz, solid surface, and granite. Experience timeless elegance with our cedar doors, crafted from premium cedar stock, kiln-dried for durability and beauty. For quality and craftsmanship, visit us at the Trade Center Kingston 10 or Hatfield Mandeville. Call 876-963-0628-30. Cameron Industries and Joinery Limited. Transform your space today.
New KFC Saucy Wings. Attention all wings lovers. KFC Saucy Wings with 2 new flavors. Mango habanero and buffalo. Spicy. KFC we have Saucy Wings. Delicious. Spicy the best. So a new KFC Saucy Wings crush the rest. Nobody does wings like KFC. New Saucy Wings is for me.
New KFC Saucy Wings. Delicious, hot, and spicy wings tossed in savory mango habanero or buffalo sauce. Wings that will crunch the rest. New KFC Saucy Wings. It's finger licking good.
Welcome back to Nationwide this morning, having a conversation with the president of the JHTA, Robin Russell, and the president of the MSME Alliance, Antoinette Hamilton, reacting to the latest consumer and business confidence survey. The survey shows that consumer confidence in the Jamaican economy has risen to an all-time high in the first quarter of 2025, moving from 183.4% in the last quarter of 2024 to now 187. But business confidence over the period has fallen, moving from 149 to 132.5. Antoinette, before the break, I was asking, what do you think has tempered the enthusiasm of those in the business sector, so much so that the confidence has fallen to this number now?
Well, it's a combination of factors. One, we would have been experiencing a relatively high interest rate environment, which would have affected our ability to borrow or to access affordable financing to invest in businesses. The budget cycle was March, up to March, and I don't get the feeling that the business sector was particularly happy with, what was presented in terms of stimulating the productive sector. The major stimulus would have been the accelerated capital allowance for businesses, but then that also had its limitations. The DBJ facility for MSMEs was good, and the fact that DBJ has removed the upfront fees will help some businesses, but generally the high interest rate environment, the slow capital expenditure by the government, which would, create economic activity, as well as the uncertainties around election, as well as the tariffs. While the tariffs were announced a little outside of the period being assessed by the researcher, it was close enough and persons would have, been aware of the very uncertain responses or strategies of the U.S. government. So that as well would have contributed to some of that. And our members some of them are actually feeling the effect of the tariffs, not a lot, but I think those would have been some of the reasons for the sentiment at this time. But to be honest, the last quarter we had indicated that the sentiment, even though business confidence was very high, it was not widespread for our sector. I think there were confidence in certain sectors, and it was more sector-driven and not a widespread sentiment. So that is now being fully played out now in this quarter about businesses.
So on that point, as it relates to it being sector-driven, I want to ask Robin Russell if there were any specific initiatives by JHTA and the tourism industry at large that contributed to the positive outlook by the consumers, and as well if there's any comment on the fall in business confidence.
So, as mentioned before, there's what we call Tourism Linkages Network that's been working through TEF in just showing opportunities in tourism. But I honestly think that a lot of the entrepreneurial spirit came out in COVID. So a lot of people went home, and being at home, they started cottage industries, whether backyard farming or producing little products that started to do really well for them, providing services to people in the communities that they have now turned into a big opportunity that they didn't go back to work, whether it's hairdressing, whether it's massage, just different services that they have now incorporated into the tourism industry. And you're just seeing it pop up, whether it's food stalls or catering services or agriculture, as I mentioned before. These are things that they're finding opportunities in, and we're encouraging it, we're showcasing it, and we want to see it grow, because this is the real benefit of tourism, where everybody can really benefit from it. That persons coming to Jamaica don't leave with money in their pocket, they spend it on things that make them have fun.
And on that point, Antoinette, we would have seen that there is a surge in entrepreneurial spirit, and even Robin just said it just now. What do you think would have been attributed to that surge in the entrepreneurial spirit, and do you see more persons entering your space as it relates to MSMEs, and what drivers you think are behind that shift?
Well, to be honest, we are very creative, and it's a global space that we're operating in now. There's no real barrier to entry at this time. So our young people in particular are very observant. They see what is happening in the space globally, and they're eager to explore their entrepreneurial journey. And that is good, because what that means is that we can have growth in certain industries. We can have new industries, because our young people are very innovative as well. What would be important, though, to support that new drive is for those entrepreneurs to be supported in the early stages of their entrepreneurial journey. And that is something that the MSME Alliance has been advocating for, in terms of, tax reform to support newly registered companies. I'm sure usually around about this time, companies' office would have seen an uptick in company and business registration, because people, starting a new year, they feel that, this is the year that they want to make an impact on their life and livelihood. And, of course, their entrepreneurial journey is one such path. Now, what the reality of entering in an entrepreneurial space is that you're going to have a lot of hurdles. It's not an easy path, and I'm speaking as an entrepreneur myself. So when it comes to tax reforms to support them, when it comes to access to capacity building opportunities and grant funding and loans is a serious problem for entrepreneurs, because in your first 2 years, you're not really qualified for a loan in terms of the requirements of the banking system. And so there has to be some support otherwise outside of that would, help them to certainly, migrate from the first 2 years of their operation and to be successful entrepreneurs.
So on that
it is
point,
a good sign.
On that point,
Yeah.
Antoinette, I've been thinking about this one for a while, and I want to ask you, based on your position right now, do you think that seed funding or some form of grant funding for budding entrepreneurs that would be in their first 2 years is something that policymakers and entities like the DBJ should look at?
Absolutely. I understand that the $2 billion budgetary allocation to DBJ, a portion of it will be for grants. That was subsequently alluded to by the Minister of Finance. And so, that is definitely an area that they can look at and ensure that it is widespread. And when I said widespread, meaning all parishes, because we have entrepreneurs all over Jamaica. It's not just Kingston and St. Catherine that entrepreneurs are developing. And so we want to work with them to look at, how best to roll out something like that to ensure that those that really need it benefit and not just a few.
And how closely, Antoinette, does the MSME Alliance work with the Ministry of Industry, Investment and Commerce, for example, in certain initiatives, for example, the MSME Business Roadshow, initiatives like that are set to benefit, emerging entrepreneurs?
Very, very closely. We would have been at the one in St. Elizabeth, would have been at the one in Clarendon, and of course would have been sharing with our network the importance of tapping into these agencies of government and just bringing general awareness to them about where they can get support. For example, export is a concern now, and so the Trade Board as well as JAMPO is there to support them. So these we have been working very closely with MIIC. In fact, we have submitted a proposal to them, to help to formalize businesses in terms of digital accounting systems so that they can put themselves in a better position to qualify for financing, whether it be a grant or a loan, because the truth is, even going up for a grant, you need to provide some financial information, and so we want to get MSMEs ready in terms of that, and we have submitted a proposal. We have met with the Minister, the Honorable Albin Hill, and we continue to have those dialogues. We have been working with other ministries as well, JBDC as well as DBJ. We actually meet with DBJ this morning. So, yes, we have been working closely, and, we need a lot more support in terms of getting the communication out. The road shows is an excellent opportunity to showcase the different agencies of government, and I think the ministry should continue that initiative because a lot of our MSMEs are not aware that these agencies really exist. And while we play our part at the MSME Alliance to educate them, we are limited in terms of resources and reach because we're a non-profit organization.
Right. And both of you, before we let you go, Robin, it's difficult to, directly pinpoint what will happen next, but an outlook for you, to your mind, in relation to business confidence, consumer confidence in the second quarter?
Well, I would just speak from my industry and in relation to tourism and the U.S., because the U.S. still plays a major market to us. There are 75% of persons who come here are from the U.S. But the mindset of the U.S. person is their spending. North America, I just saw a study with Forbes that, car sales are up, consumer sales are up, even though there is still, uncertainty in the market. I'm confident that we will bounce back. Things will level out. I think the new president came in and he had an agenda. He's trying to accomplish his agenda. But I think there's some temperance now where you see tariffs put off for 90 days, etc., etc. But what I would just say is, we're reaching into new markets to try and make sure that we don't end up with a big shock as in the past. So I'm confident that we will have a good year. I'm happy to see interest rates coming down, and I will speak to that because it did hurt us. It hurt us because they brought it down because we were having inflation, but it did hurt the growth and the entrepreneurial spirit because you can't borrow money at 10 and 11% in this environment. But we are confident that we're going to have a very good year. We're not losing any flights. In fact, we've gained quite a bit of flights for the summer season. So we're very overly excited that we're going to have a good summer.
Antoinette, for you?
Well, we are a very resilient set of people, and we have the fundamentals in terms of the economic fundamentals to support the budget and our growth path. I would say let us not be complacent. We already, despite the tariffs and its implication that it may have positively or negatively, we already have our current issues in terms of the economic growth. Let us focus on stimulating the productive sector, supporting entrepreneurship, seeing that is a current sentiment, and see where we can go from there, as opposed to being, complacent and watching and see.
Antoinette Hamilton, President of the MSME Alliance, and Robin Russell, President of the Jamaica Hotel and Tourist Association, reacting this morning to the latest findings coming out of the Consumer and Business Confidence Survey for the first quarter of 2025. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
We're going to take a break and come back with more from the Constituency Boundaries Committee on the work to make Portmore a parish.
The Time, brought to you by Bird Shack Fried Chicken. Burrata. Buy a 3-piece hat-trick meal and get an extra piece free for a limited time only is
7:46.
At Hawkeye, our mission is to deliver cutting-edge security solutions to help you keep track of the things you value most.
The temperature by Hawkeye is
26 degrees Celsius in Kingston, 27 degrees Celsius in Montego Bay, 21 degrees Celsius in Mandeville.
Yo, my boss.
Yo,
my general.
Yeah.
Yo, my king.
Yeah.
The new BK Mega Stacker. Come for run everything. Choose your style. Double, triple, or quad stack. Juicy grilled beef. Plus crispy bacon, some stark-rific sauce, and layers of melted cheese. So if you think you can angle it, stackify yourself today. Order the BK Mega Stacker and have it your way. The new BK Mega Stacker. Built for satisfaction. Limited time. Only at Burger King. Experience the joy of buying a brand new Hyundai without breaking the bank. Yes, buying a brand new car should never leave you broke. From stylish designs and safety features to comfortable driving and reliability, Hyundai is the choice. Hyundai vehicles come standard with 2 years free service and 5 years warranty and roadside assistance for your peace of mind. Drive 2 years without service cost and 5 years without fear of being stranded. Hyundai. Conditions apply.
Welcome back to Nationwide this morning. You're still on our discussion segment, The Front Page. Turning our attention now to the Constituency Boundaries Committee on the work to make Portmore a parish. We'll be bringing for you excerpts from that committee. The Electoral Commission of Jamaica, ECJ, says it's unable to give a timeline for the completion of its work on the boundary adjustments required to transition Portmore into a parish. Director of Elections, Glasspool Brown, he fielded questions from lawmakers at a meeting of Parliament's Constituency Boundaries Committee on Wednesday. The Director of Elections told Wednesday's sitting of Parliament's Constituency Boundaries Committee that work is already underway to carve out the new constituency boundaries for Portmore.
We have started the work in terms of the preparation, as was instructed, to apply what is known as the GIS technology, and we are about to embark on the field work for the new boundary and generate the relevant maps. The ECJ guideline, as was agreed by the Commission that it should be for boundary alignment, will guide the way we proceed going forward. Members, a key step involved the establishment of a formal procedure for reaching and recording agreements, along with the establishment of what is known as the Parish Boundary Forum, or known as the PBF, which will be chaired by a senior returning officer from the parish. That person will be appointed by me, the Director of Election. The PBF, as according to the guidelines, will be supported by a Parish Boundary Advisory Committee, the PBAC, which also will be chaired by a senior returning officer from the parish, appointed by me, the Director of Election. The ECJ will provide the necessary guidance and GIS technology support and electronic and paper mapping throughout the project to assist all stakeholders throughout the project. An initial meeting of the Parish Boundary Forum will be convened shortly based on the agreed structure. There's an agreed structure in the guideline in terms of the makeup of that PBF, and the Parish Boundary Advisory Committee will also be tasked to begin to conduct fieldwork, realigning the constituency boundaries, reconfiguring the electoral divisions, and also writing the constituency and polling division descriptions. That's a part of the fieldwork that needs to be done. So members, the fieldwork involves two primary objectives. First, we must investigate in the field the new St. Catherine and Portmore parish boundary. To achieve this accurately, our team will be physically walking the boundaries, accompanied by guides and key stakeholders. And secondly, it is critical that when we do that work, we capture the GPS coordinates for the new polling division boundaries within the parishes of St. Catherine and Portmore. To establish these new boundaries, it necessitates a number of changes, and these changes encompass splits and mergers for existing polling division. It also will require the renumbering and potential renaming of St. Catherine constituencies affected by the alignment. It also will require the renumbering of associated St. Catherine electoral division, followed by the renumbering of polling divisions within those affected constituencies. And it has to be agreed upon the official naming and numbering of the three designated Portmore constituencies. That will be critical in terms of naming those new three the constituencies that should remain in Portmore and the new Portmore parish. It will also, Chair, require the renumbering of those electoral divisions that now constitute part of Portmore. And finally, it will require the writing of the polling division's description for all impacted PDs to reflect the changes agreed upon. These steps, the Commission believes, will ensure the new electoral map is accurately defined and implemented both geographically and administratively.
That was Glasspool Brown. It will require the input of both major political parties will be asked to submit written proposals for the naming and numbering of the three designated Portmore constituencies. Disputes over the realigned boundaries must ultimately be settled by the independent commissioners of the ECJ. Mr. Brown says a report will then be submitted to the committee for final ratification.
A part of the process, Chair and members, is that both political parties will be required, both major political parties will be required to submit written proposal. Hopefully, an agreement can be reached by all members of the Parish Boundary Advisory Committee. In a case, though, where no agreement by the Parish Boundary Advisory Committee, an established procedure for accepting agreement be with a consultation between the nominated commissioners and the Director of Election, followed after which after that consultation, that is assuming that no agreement is arrived at the PBAC. Following that, the preparation of final draft of realignment for submission to the PBF for signing. MPs and constituency caretakers, ROs, need to sign off on the new constituency boundaries realignment and the electoral divisions, and also the PD numbering. And this agreement, based on the guideline that we have in place and as agreed by the Commission, that both general secretaries of both parties, both major political parties, will have to sign too. These agreement or disagreement would then be submitted to the ECJ, and if accepted without any change by the Commission, then we'll move forward in preparing a report that will then be submitted back to you, Chair, as the Chairman to the Boundaries Committee of Parliament. An approval of this committee, the next step will be then lead to the gazetting of the new electoral boundaries, the electoral division, the PDs, and the constituency boundaries. Once this part is agreed to, then the acceptance of the Parliament would then be sought through this committee. And then we'll proceed based on that communication that will come back from the Parliament. Then the ECJ will then proceed afterwards in terms of doing the final step of the arrangement, and that is to communicate. It is our responsibility to communicate the effective date of the realignment, after which the voters list data set will be updated to reflect the new information, the new constituencies, the new electoral division and polling division. Though that it is at that stage, then we will begin to print the list. And finally, that list will be published to all the constituencies in the parishes of St. Catherine, and by extension that of the Portmore parish. And then Portmore will be officially, based on the electoral aspect of it, be established for the electoral, guided by the electoral process. This, Chairman, is in summary, is where we are. This is they will just update the committee in terms of the approach that will be taken.
And the Director of Elections noted that a proper timeline for the completion cannot be provided at this time due to the scope of work. And you did hear Mr. Brown detailing all the work that will be needed. And within those committees, Sandre, will be a space as well for the residents of Portmore to have their say. Within the boundary committees, they can come and they can make a written submission or an oral submission of concerns that they have. Mm-hmm. So what if a lot of them come? So you have that to deal with as well. I can imagine a lot of back and forth will be happening as well
between
from
the opposition and government. Yeah.
Opposition and government, because they will be able to nominate, I think it's 2 or 3 representatives who will be on these committees to represent their points of view. And as I said, I can just imagine the back and forth that will take place during those committee meetings about the boundaries in particular.
Yeah. I do doubt we'd have a lot of residents coming unless it's highly politicized, because as somebody that has watched a number of committees, I know you've watched a number of committees as well, Tana, when we have that section for residents to come in or persons, just random Jamaicans to come in and give inputs on policies and laws to be implemented. We don't have that much people. We'll have some groups.
They might not come.
Come.
Because they don't have to come and make oral submissions, but they can make written
submissions. Yeah, we do
written
get submissions.
And you have seen the two sides breaking out and having a back and forth on the matter so far. Look at the meeting you had in Portmore,
when the whole back and forth
mayor, there,
MPs,
and even here on Nationwide at 5, we had discussions about the Portmore becoming a parish and the boundaries and all of that, and we had representatives from different citizens associations are representing different sides, and there was a whole back and forth with them during that limited time that they had during that discussion segment.
Yeah.
So I take the point that they may not come sit down before the committee and say what they agree with or don't agree with.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'd like to think there will be written submissions.
Numerous written submissions.
Yes, of people who, sharing their point of view on the matter.
Yeah. Well.
But that is to come, and that is why, I'd say I agree that it may take some time.
Yeah.
But that was Glasspool Brown. You are listening to Glasspool Brown, the Director of Elections, who was speaking on Wednesday at Parliament's Constituency Boundaries Committee, outlining for you what is set to take place, what has already gotten underway in relation to Portmore, and what is set to come. Going to take a break now for Across Jamaica.
Front Page was brought to you today by ABC Electrical Sales, for a better choice in the electrical business.
The Coconut Industry Board is celebrating 80 years of serving Jamaica's coconut farmers. The Coconut Industry Board, seeding for the future. The time brought to you by the Coconut Industry Board is...
It's 8 o'clock.
Success, powered by learning. The temperature, brought to you by Sandals Corporate University. Come grow with us is...
26 degrees Celsius in Kingston, 27 degrees Celsius in Montego Bay, 21 degrees Celsius in Mandeville.
From the mountainside to seaside, countryside to townside, inside and outside, it's Across Jamaica this morning.
Across Jamaica this Thursday morning, Minister of Labour and Social Security Pernod Charles Jr. says that the ministry is taking steps to integrate artificial intelligence AI and advanced digital technology into the country's overhauled work permit framework. He made the comment following his attendance of the CARICODE's Organization Development Transformation Conference 2025 on Tuesday.
We are integrating both EI and AI in our efforts to streamline efficiency across all of our various programs and initiatives. The work permit system is one such, where we are introducing automation to increase the efficiency and effectiveness of the service delivery for those persons who want work permits. And Jamaica is not just to participate in the global digital shift. We want to help lead. We want to be leaders. So we have to ensure that our policies are inclusive, our innovations must be ethical, and our people must be empowered.
Pernod Charles Jr., Minister of Labour and Social Security. Minister Charles says under the overhauled program, a process that previously took 3 months can now be done in just 3 hours. The minister pointed to recent ministry initiatives that incorporate AI, including its disaster relief program and its farm worker support project. Minister Charles says the farm worker support program increases assistance through partnerships with organizations like JN Money Services Canada. The CARICODE conference was held under the theme, Expand Your Horizon, Synergizing Through the Awesome Lens of EI and AI. It highlighted the importance of integrating emotional intelligence EI and artificial intelligence AI in Jamaica's development. St. Jago High School has been named overall winner for St. Catherine in the Jamaica Cultural Development Commission, JCDC, Performing Arts Competition. The school walked away with 5 trophies and $50,000 in cash. In addition, St. Jago took the top high school and zone awards for Spanish Town. The school also placed first in speech and drama. The competition in the areas of speech, music, dance, and traditional folk forms took place during the period February to March. Drama teacher Vanessa Gardner-Rayner says that the school is proud of the achievement. She says that the students are involved in various extracurricular activities and always try to put their best forward. The teacher says that the competition helps establish cultural values and resilience. The St. James Municipal Corporation recycled approximately 200,000 pounds of plastic bottles during fiscal year 2024-2025. Mayor of Montego Bay, Councillor Richard Vernon, says that this was undertaken in partnership with Recycling Partners of Jamaica, RPJ, and WPM Waste Management Limited. Councillor Vernon says that the project started in the community of Canterbury and surrounding areas, including Love Lane, King's Street, William Street and Albion Lane. He said residents were asked to collect bottles, package them and put them to the front of their yards or store them in a convenient way until the trucks were able to pick them up. He says that the practice has now become a habit he hopes will be replicated across the parish. And that's it for Across Jamaica for this Thursday morning. I'm Tawna Thomas.
Are you ready for something mega?
Spend $6,500 or more before GCT, drop your entry in the box and you could win a 2025 Hyundai Tucson. It's the Mega Wheels Tour promotion, April 5th to September 28th. Second prize, a $50,000 shopping spree every month for a year. Third prize, a $30,000 shopping spree every month for a year. Brought to you by Hyundai, Redstone, Heineken, True Milk, Grace, Walker's Wood, Downing, CPJ Daiquiri, and Carryburst. Choose Concentrate. Only at Megamart. Locations island-wide. Megamart. Best value by far.
Authorized under Section 58.3 of the Betting, Gaming and Lotteries Act.
Experience the joy of buying a brand new Hyundai without breaking the bank. Yes, buying a brand new car should never leave you broke. From stylish designs and safety features to comfortable driving and reliability, Hyundai is the choice. Hyundai vehicles come standard with 2 years free service and 5 years warranty and roadside assistance for your peace of mind. Drive 2 years without service cost and 5 years without fear of being stranded. Hyundai. Conditions apply.
You ever get bun yet? The bun was sweet so much you can't resist. Me not talk about heartbreak. Me not talk about the bun with full of spice, raisin, and the perfect glaze. Mother's Bakery Easter bun. This is the bun where everybody need this Easter. If you don't get bun, you not live life right. Mother's Bakery Easter bun. Get the best type of bun from the right people. Mother's Bakery Easter bun. The bun you have to get with love in every bite. Available in select supermarkets.
Building Blocks is brought to you by the Contractor Center, providing solutions to everyday challenges.
Welcome back to Nationwide this morning. You're now tuned in to the segment Building Blocks. Yes, it's time for Building Blocks, your weekly segment dedicated to the tools, techniques, and innovations shaping Jamaica's construction industry. Today, we're focusing on the Meltway line of products. As usual, we're being joined by the CEO of the Contractor Center, Andre Hutchinson. And this time, Andre is not on the phone. Andre is in studio with me for the first time. Hey to you, Andre.
Good morning, Tana. How are you?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Yeah, we decided since you weren't going to come to us, we were going to come to you. After many invitations, you know?
I'm very, very happy about that. And I'm even happier because you brought your products with you.
Absolutely.
So you can show to our YouTubers. So peeps out there in Radio Land, you can hop on over to the YouTube channel Nationwide 90 FM Live 2, so you can see the products that Andre will be talking about this morning, which is a part of the Meltway line of products. So take it away, Andre. Tell me what you have in front of me.
So last time we were on, we spoke about our Meltway 5000, which is our flagship product for concrete removal. It's been going quite well. But one of the biggest issues that we run into day to day for our clients is mold. Right? So whether you're living in Stony Hill, Jacks Hill, Portland, in the hills of St. Anne or Manchester or wherever, mold is a big issue. And so as a result, we have curated a product for molding, which will help to remove the mold by applications. You mix it 1-to-1, spray it on, and it just melts away.
That's it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Wow.
I think we have some footage of it and stuff all over this. We're going to be posting a lot of videos on our YouTube channel and our TikTok, of course, in the next coming days with it.
So when you say mix it, you mean like with water?
Yeah, so you mix it 1-to-1 with water. We have a 1 liter bottle here. And so you just, whatever you decide to take out of it, same amount of water, you put it in a little spray.
Yeah.
You spray it on, you make it set for, I'd say about 5-10 minutes. And then it normally just melts away, you know. In more industrial environments, you probably have to mix it into a pressure washer.
Once it's spray.
Once it's spray. But for residential environments, which, you know, those are like, it's every day. Every day we get that conversation. So you can just put it in a mixing bottle and spray it, and it'll make it set 10-15 minutes and you're good to go. And then you can, what we recommend is that we have our original as well. So the original really is what locks it in, right? So mold doesn't come back, because the truth of it, mold always coming back. You know? It's a challenge.
So for the original that you have here, talk to us about how you apply that one.
This one's just ready to use. So you can spray it, you can roll it on any way you like to do it, whatever's most convenient for you. When you roll it on, you have to roll it very thin, because if you roll it too thick, it's going to run on down. If you spray it, you get a better spread on it, because it's not going on too thick. But it's really a wonderful product. You go on and it just forms like a barrier right below the surface of the concrete, and you know, you're good to go.
Give us a practical example, a residential property, and you're using the Meltway 3000.
All right. So like, for instance, a lot of roofs are in the top part of your building. You'll have the water kind of moisture kind of building in your home, and you'll start to see these black kind of dark spots in the roof. It's mold, it's fungus, it's whatever it is. But this one will, when you see that, get on your you buy the Meltway 3000, you mix it with water, you get on a ladder or something, and you spray it, right? Actually, no, first thing you do is actually scrape away the paint, right?
Okay.
You have to scrape away the paint and then spray it, and then you can apply the original and then paint back with whatever you wanted after that, and you should be good to go.
Wow. So all of you out there who are having issues with mold, Andre just gave you the formula of what will work for you. The Meltway 3000, you need to buy the Meltway 3000, and you need to buy the original as well. Both of those applications, and you should be good to go. So Andre, just for persons who they missed out on what you were saying about the Meltway 5000, I want you to go back to some of the primary details about the Meltway 5000.
All right. So the Meltway 5000, that's primarily for contractors, right, who you work with cement, right? So whether you are trying to clean your tools, whether it be your hand tools or your walk behind saw or your trowel or your power trowels or even the concrete trucks, you know, cement can destroy your equipment, right? So the great thing about this is also ready to use, no dilution. You pour it onto the area that you're trying to get rid of. It fizzes like it's soda, and just leave it there for maybe 5 minutes, 6 minutes. The longer you leave it, the stronger it is, and then you scrape it off, and it just. We did a great demo at Expo.
Yes.
And the people were like, yo, this is fantastic, you know? And so we've had a good response to both products so far. And we're just here to try and serve our clients. You know, we listen to what they want and we try and provide the solutions.
For both of them, before you get to the pink one.
Yes.
What's a pink one?
Tire mark remover.
Oh, soon get to that one. But for the two you just spoke of, the Meltway 5000 and 3000, remind our listeners as well if they need to take any sort of extra precautions when they're doing the application of that.
Well, definitely for the Meltway 5000, you're going to need gloves and glasses. It's a very strong product. You don't want it touching your skin. And you definitely don't want it in your eyes. So those are two products. That's a very strong product. The mold remover, not necessarily so much. There's no acids or anything in it, and so it's ready to use. It's not necessarily as you don't necessarily maybe some glasses if anything, because you don't want any of these things in your eyes.
Yeah. All right. So the pink one now, the one in the middle.
So this one is a very niche product.
Yes.
Right? So we've been doing epoxy flooring for about 12 years here in Jamaica, and I would say the number one complaint for most of our clients is that when they use their forklifts and their pallet trucks, it leaves marks on the floor. And when the health authorities come, it looks unseemly. And so one of the things that we try to do is design a product that can help solve that problem. So, you know, this is primarily designed for people like who are in the pharmaceutical industry, warehouses, manufacturing facilities that want to keep it clean, spick and span, even in some loading docks as well. Because you want your facility to look as clean as possible.
Right.
And sometimes getting rid of the rubber marks and the tire marks is a challenge. So that's what we designed it. We heard the complaints. I mean, we had a number of clients last year who were like, yo, we need a solution. And we had been working on this for about 18 months. And so now that the formula is right and we're ready to go. And, you know, we launched at Expo. And these products are actually manufactured here in Jamaica.
Wonderful.
And is exclusive to the contractor center.
So tell us about how you apply that one. How do we use this one?
Ready to use. You have to make it sit a little longer. So this one, you pour it out onto the spot. You would make it rest for about 20 minutes to make it to work. And then you just brush it off with a bristle broom, right?
So I don't apply anything to this one?
No, all you do is pouring this out. That's it. Just put it on the spot, make it sit there for 20 minutes, and then you just take a broom and it just rubs right off.
Just like that.
Just like that. And trust me, took a lot of testing to get it to this point. Yes. Took a lot of work to get it to this point, you know?
Yeah. So you said you launched that one at Expo.
Yeah, all three we discussed at Expo, but we did the demo for the concrete at Expo.
Okay. So what has been the reaction to all the products overall? So
the tire mark is niche, so we're just going to our clients who are already doing business with, who we know have the problem. So we're not it's strategic in that regard. The concrete and the mold have gotten a fantastic response so far. Especially, I think the mold is moving the fastest because I think that's...
I can imagine. Yes.
Yeah,
a lot of householders
a lot of people
struggle with this.
Yeah, a lot of people. This is a massive problem. So,
yeah.
We're happy to provide the solution.
Okay. So for people now, as usual, Andre, who... Yeah, they hear it, they never know about the product, they missed the expo and all that went down there. They're trying to find you guys so that they can get their hands on these products.
Yes.
Where do they come?
All right, so we're located at 26 Shorter Road, Kingston 8. You can call us at 876-9255-700. You can WhatsApp us at 876-213-3982. And of course, we are very active on social media, TikTok, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. We try to respond to all the messages. Sometimes I'm not so great at it, but I try my best.
Yes.
But also we're just here to try and help everybody out. And we're looking for I think in the short order we may have some distribution locations for some of these products.
Wonderful. I'm sure listeners would really, really appreciate that. I'm checking the chat as well to see if there are any other questions.
There's one question everybody asked about delivery.
Yes.
Right? So We do deliver, but we use Knutsford Express. So if you come through our WhatsApp chat, we can organize for you to get delivery of any of the products that we carry. And there's also one other thing I know people are always asking about. It's our Fast Steel, the waterproofing.
Oh, yes.
It is.
I wonder if that's your number one product.
It is our number one seller. It is our number one seller. It is in the island right now. We're aspiring to have it off the wharf today. And so, worst case scenario, we'll be ready to go on Tuesday, full blown. I know a lot of people have paid down money already for a product, and we've
wow.
Yeah, a lot of people.
Yeah.
So we have quite a bit. So I think we'll be good to go for a couple of months, and come on in, get your Fast Steel. Of course, any problems that you have with your home or any your businesses or anything you want to protect, feel free to call us. We're consult for free.
Here's one. Leroy Rutty's asking if the contractor center has anything to enhance the look of my backyard, sections of the concrete looking like grass. But before you answer that question, Andre, if you could just tell us what's happening on screen now.
Oh yeah. So that was how to use the original. So basically scrape off the paint. And this is how we apply the original. It's just a milky white solution, and we just roll it on, real nice and thin.
Yeah. And that's it. There goes the roller.
Yeah. And what it does, it just goes in and penetrates and creates a nice little barrier.
Right.
For your stuff.
And once that dry, you can repaint the surface.
Correct. And it dries clear.
Great. So to Leroy Rutty's question, he's asking if the contractor center has anything to enhance the look of his backyard. He says sections of the concrete is looking like grass.
Yeah, man, I fully understand what he's saying.
Great.
All right. So, yes, we have about 3 or 4 different types of options. We have our overlay 850, which what we do is probably dig up what's there and put it back down, or we can use concrete. We can stain it with different colors, steel float it and then stain it. Meaning steel float by making it very smooth and then putting a color in it. Or we can actually mix a color into the concrete if you so desire. We can also stamp it as well. That's one of the things that we do a lot of.
Yeah.
So you can put a design in it. We also have a new product called Montero Lovato, which is basically a resin stone look. So basically, we put down a cementatious-like product. We use acid and take off the top of it, and it exposes the aggregate of the stone, and it's very beautiful. And so we have a lot of different options. Anything you want. If you just want to repair the concrete, we have repair mortars, and we can put a seal on top of it. So we're very flexible. Just call us. We'll find a solution for you.
And for Leroy Rutty as well as Pato is asking for you to repeat your numbers.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You can call us 876-9255-700, or you can WhatsApp us at 876-213-3982.
So before we let you go, Andre, any other updates, any other information you want to put out to our listeners before we let you go?
Yeah, so we also brought in I have 2 new products that basically we brought in last week. Tin set, right? So we're having tin set for ceramic and porcelain tile. Amazing prices. Come on down and we'll tell you the prices. And secondly, we're also launching a plaster for your walls. So you're finishing walls, repair the walls, and that sort of thing. Because, in Jamaica, especially, the walls are always eating out, and you need to smooth it back and so forth. And so we have a new solution for that as well. And again, amazing prices.
Janet Parchment asks, is there a website?
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Contractor
so
Center.
what's your website again?
So the website is www.thecontractorcenterja.com.
Okay, so there you go, Janet Parchment. You can go on over to the Contractor Center's website and browse and see what you like, and then head on to the location. Craig McKenzie's asking, what is the WhatsApp number again? So repeat the WhatsApp number, Andre.
It is 876-213-3982. And of course, if you go to our TikTok page or any of our pages, all our contact information is in the profile. So whether you want to find our address, our email address, our WhatsApp, anything, it's right there.
Wonderful. So this morning, Andre was focusing on the Meltwell line of products, but also answered your questions and told you about other things to come, as well as their number one product, which he's hoping
for today.
We'll get off the wharf today. So you can head on down to the contractor center, look around, engage with Andre's reps, who will be on the floor to definitely help you out with whatever questions or queries you may have. So that's been it for the Building Blocks segment. Andre, thank you so much for coming in.
It's
today.
great to see you in
come
person,
in more
Tana.
often.
Yes.
Thank you. Great to see you as well. Gonna take a break on Nationwide this morning and come back with more.
Building Blocks was brought to you by the Contractor Center, providing solutions to everyday challenges.
Apply for your NHD refunds at nhd.gov.jm or via the NHD app. Do not click on any links offering to help you. The time by the NHD is
8:24.
Fontana Pharmacy has a wide variety of items from pharmaceuticals, household, cosmetics, toys, and more. The temperature by Fontana Pharmacy, it's all good inside, is
28 degrees Celsius in capital city Kingston, 27 out west in Montego Bay, and in Mandeville, 23 degrees Celsius.
New KFC Saucy Wings. Attention all wings lovers. KFC Saucy Wings with 2 new flavors. Saucy Wings. Mango habanero and buffalo. Hot, spicy. KFC we have Saucy Wings. Delicious, spicy, the best. So a new KFC Saucy Wings crunch the rest. Nobody does wings like KFC. New Saucy Wings is for me.
New KFC Saucy Wings. Delicious, hot, and spicy wings tossed in savory mango habanero or buffalo sauce. Wings that will crunch the rest. New KFC Saucy Wings. It's finger-licking good.
Data Protection Matters is brought to you by Design Privacy. We help you comply and build trust.
Good day. Welcome to Data Protection Matters, powered by Design Privacy. I am Chukwuemeka Cameron and I will be your host for today. So I started on Tuesday introducing what it is we actually do. Very often persons see me on the road and say, Chuck, we hear you on the radio talking about privacy. We know you believe and you're very serious about privacy. But what is it we do? So in brief, today I'm going to share with you our philosophy at Design Privacy. So we believe in 3 core things: data privacy rights, profits for ourselves and our client, and ensuring our clients have a peace of mind. To expand on that, we believe that every citizen has a right to data privacy, but many organizations fall short of handling this responsibility, putting themselves and those they serve at risk. Design Privacy exists to create a safer world for our citizens. As an expert in privacy risk management, we provide guidance, training, and process simplifying tools that enable organizations to confidently safeguard their stakeholders and achieve peace of mind. Our commitment to lifelong learning drives our thought leadership in the region, but our human-centered approach makes data privacy simple, actionable, and scalable. By designing solutions that prioritize individual rights, we make data privacy risk management accessible and affordable. When data privacy is embedded in everyday practices, we are one step closer to achieving our vision. And that is a world where data privacy rights are universally respected and citizens confidently engage with responsible organizations. Protecting data is protecting people. To future-proof your organization, design privacy into your processes and embed data protection into your culture. Protect data privacy rights, profits, and peace of mind. Very quickly, going to make reference to an article that I read in a Sunday paper. And this is where it dealt with the challenges that landlords are now facing. And they speak to a new kind of tenant risk. The story, it recently spotlighted the harsh reality for Jamaican landlords: late rent, property damage, and tenants who won't leave. To protect themselves, many are now turning to background checks, ID and income verification, social media surveillance, private investigators. But here's what no one's asking: are these practices legal under the Data Protection Act? If you collect, use, or store someone's personal information to make a rental decision, you are a data controller and legally obligated to register with the Office of the Information Commissioner, disclose how you process data, limit data use to clear lawful purposes, and provide tenants access and correction rights. The reality is most landlords are not doing this. Landlords mean well, but when social media vetting and neighborhood scouting go unchecked, we create data misuse, identity profiling, a complete loss of privacy rights at the front door. This isn't just a legal gap, it's a trust crisis in the making. That doesn't care if you're a private home owner or licensed real estate agent. If you determine how data is used, you are accountable, and failure to comply could cost significant fines. What should happen next? For landlords and agents, register as a data controller, tell tenants how their data will be used, store data securely, and delete when no longer needed, offer correction and deletion rights. For tenants, ask what data will be collected and why. Use your rights under the Act. Report misuse to the Office of the Information Commissioner. For the DPOs and policymakers, educate landlords and realtors. Offer privacy toolkits for small data controllers. Enforce clear standards in the property sector. This isn't about choosing between security or privacy. It's about building a rental system where both can thrive. Until next week, thanks for joining as we continue our journey on making Jamaica citizens safe. Walk good.
Data Protection Matters was brought to you by Design Privacy. We help you comply and build trust.
You're listening to Nationwide 90 FM. The time is
8:30.
Skillset Talent Solutions offers marketing, accounting, business registration, logo creation, tax filing, background checks, and recruiting services. Call them at 876-559-3212. The temperature by Skillset Talent Solutions is
28 degrees Celsius in capital city Kingston, 27 out west in Montego Bay, and 23 degrees Celsius in Mandeville.
Maxfield Bakery for breads and buns and bullets too. It's Maxfield Bakery for the best Easter bun, you know that's
Maxfield Easter bun, the juicy fruity Easter bun. Order online and send abroad at maxfieldbakery.com or call Maxfield Bakery at 926-2160 or 929-3897 and get yours before they're done. Scatter says so.
Horton's RX, the caring pharmacy, the Yes We Can pharmacy, the Yes It's in Stock pharmacy, the House Call Delivery pharmacy, the RX Pack mobile app pharmacy, the RX Plus digital wallet pharmacy, the 20% reward pharmacy, the easy to remember number pharmacy, 876-RX0RXRX, the easy access 24/7 pharmacy, Horton's RX, the convenient pharmacy, #wellness, #simply delivered.
JANAC Global Accreditation, promoting consumer confidence, facilitating market access through internationally accepted accreditation and training services. Accreditation, your visa for global access. Accredited once, accepted everywhere. Call JANAC Global Accreditation at 876-968-7790 or visit our website at www.janac.gov.jm.
We're back with you. It's Nationwide this morning. Of course, we are in one of my favorite segments. It is time for Tax and You. And today we're talking about property tax compliance. It's for those persons who, you have a property and you're wondering what's next. How do I keep compliant with my taxes for my property? We're going to have a little conversation about that with our taxpayer education officer from the TAJ, Antoinette Anderson. Good morning, Antoinette.
Hi, good morning.
How are you this morning?
I'm good. Thank you for asking.
Yeah, so we're going to go right into it, asking this very important question. If I am somebody who has a property and I owe taxes, how do I find out? How do I check whether or not I owe any property tax or have any amount of property tax to pay?
Okay. So if you own this property for the first time and what would happen is an initial assessment is going to be sent from the Ministry of Local Government. In that document is going to contain a valuation number. So now with your valuation number, you can use that information to go to our website at jamaicatax.gov.jm or to the mobile app to make payments for it, or to check first. You can check, and then you can use the same valuation number to make the payments on the website or on the mobile app.
So what do I do then if I receive... You hear me, Antoinette? Go ahead. I have another question for you, but go ahead. You're saying on the website? Mr. King? I think we lost Antoinette there. So she was saying that we could check on the website to see whether or not there are any outstanding balances on our property tax. If it is you have a property, Mr. King, that you are wondering about, if you didn't pay taxes last year, Mr. King, you can check on the website. And that's important for all our listeners. You have your property and you're wondering what's happening. Is there an outstanding balance? Is there something I need to pay? What's happening? You can check there. Are we getting Antoinette back? Yes? All right, we're trying to get her back. On that note, another point we want to look at is how is it we receive that notification of compliance notice? So for those persons who you would have been non-compliant, there is also that feature where you get a compliance notice, and that would indicate that there is an outstanding balance and you need to rectify things there. So we want to ask that question and hear from Antoinette what exactly you do in that case, noting that we just found out about how we check if there are outstanding balances or amounts owed on property tax. Another thing we will be talking about as well would be the encouragement of voluntary compliance, because there are persons who consistently and constantly pay their property taxes and ensure that they are in line with all the necessaries when it comes on to paying off outstanding balances and being on time. And we're seeing if we get Antoinette back. And in between time, we have a few giveaways for you this morning. And for those of you who like this season, you like bun and cheese, and I have a couple buns and a few cheeses. Now, none of them are for me because none of them are for me, but I have 3 buns and 3 tasty cheese for you. So I'm going to ask you to listen to this interview clearly and squarely. I'll be taking I think a call or 2 and 1 from the chat. So remember to listen to this interview as I see if we get Antoinette Anderson back. Is she back? Yes, she's back. I'm getting the indication that she is indeed back. So we were at the point when you were talking about the website, checking on the website, Antoinette. You just can continue on that vein, please.
Okay, Sandra, I didn't realize that I was cut off. All right, so I was saying that to check to see if you owe the property tax, You can go to our website at jamaicatax.gov.jm, or you could use the TJ mobile app to do the check. Now, what is necessary for this process, because you need to have the valuation number, right? Usually when a property is where they change ownership of a property, there is an initial assessment notice that's sent to the new owners.
Right.
And in that assessment, there is what we call a valuation number that would be used for the purpose of making payments. So we know about volume number and folio number, but that part of it is not necessary for the payment aspect of it. So the valuation number in that assessment notice, you can use it to go to our website. The property tax query is right there on the home page to the right side. You can check to see what the amounts are that's outstanding on it. And you can even go further to creating a username on the website or on the app to make the payments. So that's how you go about checking. Or you could visit the office. Let's not forget the persons who prefer to walk in. You can visit the office for that check.
So, okay, that's good stuff. So the website or the office for that, the website or the office for that check. The next question is, if I receive a compliance letter, what should I do if I receive a compliance letter? Compliance notice.
If you receive that compliance notice, the first thing you need to do is to visit the office or go to the app or the website to make the payment as quickly as possible. Right? So persons who have received it, don't throw it aside or, ignore it. Go ahead and make the payment.
Okay, so I think my last question for you before I ask you if there's anything you want to add is, how does the TAJ in this time period encourage, voluntary compliance for those persons who have their properties, should be paying their property taxes? How does the TAJ ensure that, all those persons just voluntarily comply, they're up to date, they're on time, they're doing what they should be doing as it relates to their property taxes?
Okay, so we want to arm the taxpayer with the information, right? So I just told you how to check, right? Outside of that, we have education programs where we interact with the taxpayers at various forums and community expositions. We also have active communication programs that literally pushes the message of voluntary tax compliance. And we make it easy and convenient for taxpayers to become just that as it relates to the online services. Now, I don't want to leave this part out because a lot of persons may not be aware, but we also do what is called outstation operations, and these are particularly in rural areas. So this is where we partner with the local government to go into communities to collect the taxes. So we meet the taxpayers where they are. Right?
Okay, that's good.
And what I want to say this right now because we have one that's coming up next week, Thursday, which is going to be at Port Royal. So the Port Royal persons can look out for us.
Okay, so is there anything else you'd want our taxpayers to know for those listening now? What would you want them to know?
All right, so your property taxes can be paid. I said two options earlier, the online option. You can also make the payment in office. We also have the mobile app. Persons who use NCB and Scotia, they can set up TAJ property tax as a payee on their accounts to make their tax payments for property tax. And, the tax mobile collection, which usually is when we go off for the outstation operations. So persons just pay those taxes when they're due, and remember you have the options to pay it annually, biannually, or you can pay it quarterly. Of course, if you want to pay it monthly, that's up to you as well. So
All
that's
right.
basically it, Andre.
Thank you so much, Antoinette. That's Antoinette Anderson, and she is a taxpayer education officer at the Tax Administration of Jamaica. Thank you for joining us. Now I'm going to turn to my studio line, 630-937124 and 618-8255. I have, can Mr. King show the buns? Is it possible to show the buns? I have buns and cheeses, buns and cheeses. So a bun and a cheese for each winner who would have listened to my great interview about tax and the property tax in particular. Tona, you've joined me. Hi.
Yeah, for a tin of cheese and a bun.
Yeah, I'm seeing buns there. I'm seeing and there's a tasty cheese. Mr. King is doing a good job. Just
Am I eligible?
I will speak to the producer. So those in the chat, I have a question for you.
No, is that a serious question?
630-937124 618-8255. 630-937124 and 618-8255. And for those in the chat, I have a question for you as well. Do we have Smith? Good morning to you.
Morning, Sandra. Morning, Tana.
Good morning to you.
Yeah, I'm giving you an opportunity, a golden opportunity to win one of the bun and cheese in studio.
One of the golden buns.
Yes. And it's from Maxfield Bakery, of course. I'm going to ask, what should you do if you receive a compliance notice from the TAJ?
Go pay it up right away. Don't delay.
Okay, good. That's great. We have one, Michelle. Just take his details, and that's one for Smith. Thank you so much, Smith. You are a lucky winner of our Easter promotion or bun and cheese right here on the MTN.
So that's one Maxfield Easter bun and one tin of tasty cheese out the way. 2 more to go. 2 more tins of tasty cheese. 2 more Maxfield buns. You have another question?
I do. Do we have another caller, Michelle, or do I go in my chat? I'm going to go in my chat, and then I'll take another caller. And I'm going to ask in the chat. So the first person who puts this in, we're going to take the... Okay, let me see. All right, let's take the call, and then I give the chat the last one. All right, for the caller, Jackie, good morning. Hello?
Good morning.
Hi, Jackie. So the question I have for you is, how can I check if I owe property taxes? I would have said 2 ways. I think I repeated it about 20 times. So I'm going to ask, you should be able to get this one. Easy. Lemon squeezy.
You can plug in your transaction number, evaluation number, folio number, and stuff, and click on 919. Or you may call and go into the office.
Okay, brilliant. Jackie gets another one. It's out the park, Michelle, and you have to take that information as well. Thank you so much, Jackie. You are a lucky winner.
Can I give my bun and cheese away?
Yes, you can. Of course you can.
Can you give it to the security at the gate? I don't know who it is. Just give it to that person.
Okay, brilliant. Thank you, Jackie. Thank you so much, Jackie. We'll definitely do that. He'll appreciate that this morning.
You're welcome.
So Percy has a radio out in...
Yeah, Percy heard. Percy heard from Jackie. All right, so I'm going to my chat, Michelle. I'm going to my chat, and I'm going to ask my chat, how does the TAJ encourage the voluntary compliance with property tax? How does the TAJ encourage voluntary compliance? Waiting for my chat. No, Marco Brooks, it's not runaway.
What?
Brian McCullough said they have education campaigns for the public. Yes, that is indeed correct. Brian McCullough said they have education campaigns for the public. Michelle will reach out to you. And of course, yes, Percy is going to enjoy his Easter early on out. because Jackie called just for him. We appreciate it. All right, thank you so much, everyone, for joining us in this segment. We had Tax on You, then we had our giveaways. We're going to take a break, and I'm going to ask you to send those birthdays in. We will be going into one of my favorite segments, or birthdays. We'll be right back with you.
You're listening to Nationwide 90 FM. The time is...
It's 8:48.
The Birthday Club is brought to you by Burger King, the best tasting burger under the sun.
Trust in my heart and meet me in paradise. Now is the time, girl.
We're back with you.
So earlier,
yeah,
when we started NTM, and I was asking about the week, if every day has any sort of symbolism or explanation behind it, because today is Holy Thursday, and I was asking if Tuesday and Monday were also holy days. So our listeners, they did tap in. I did receive some messages which gave an explanation. So it says in the Catholic Christian liturgical or worship calendar, there is the season of Lent, spans Ash Wednesday to Holy Saturday. This is Holy Week, started on Sunday last with Passion or Palm Sunday, and extends to Holy Saturday, the day after Good Friday. Holy Thursday, today, precedes Good Friday. Monday and Tuesday, these are days in Holy Week, which is this week. No special designations for each of these days. Together they are. However, Wednesday, yesterday, is called in the Anglican Communion Spy Wednesday, which means looking or spying on Holy Thursday. So for those of you who didn't know, you're wondering, just like me, that is the explanation coming from a very authoritarian voice on these matters. So there you go. But turning our attention now to our birthdays. A lot of peeps are celebrating their birthday today. And this one that we're starting with, Blair. Blair celebrated her birthday yesterday. So belated birthday greetings to you, Blair, sending you a special big up. I hear you live in New York City. And we're telling you to always be sweet and that we will twin till the end of time. So you know who that one is coming from, Blair. Belated happy birthday greetings to you. And this one is for you.
Trust in my heart and meet me in paradise. Now is the time, girl. You're every wonder in this world to me. A treasured time won't steal away. So listen to my heart. Body close to mine. Let me fill you with my dreams. I can make you feel alright. And baby, through the years, gonna love you more each day. So I promise you tonight that you will always be the lady in my tenderness. Let's make this a night we won't forget. Girl, I need your sweet caress.
All right, we have another one here. One of our ardent listeners, Rex Thame, or uncle of Havendale, he's celebrating his 99th birthday today. Greetings coming from his family. here and abroad. And from our producer, Michelle, I have very happy birthday to you. Rex Thame, I hope you live to see many more, and you've seen many. So I know you are enjoying your day.
Happy 85th birthday going out to Mr. Henry Kettle. Hey to you, Mr. Kettle, celebrating your birthday today. Wishing you continued strength and happiness. Greetings coming from your wife, Una, your daughter, Therese, and your granddaughter, Zuri. Wishing for you a wonderful day. Over on Facebook, happy birthday greetings to Andrea Phillips, Franklin Rogers, Angel Hutton. It's your birthday. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday as well to Fiona Brown, Franklin Rogers. Happy birthday again. Here you are, a general, Calabar old boy. So happy birthday, Franklin. Happy birthday as well to Misha Montego, Suzette Campbell, Dwayne Squidley Hill. Hey to you. Squidley, I hear you used to work at Nationwide. So happy birthday to you, Dwayne. Wishing for you a great day as well. Maurice Smooth Wignall, it's your birthday. Big up yourself, Maurice. Calabar old boy again. Wishing for you a wonderful day. Olympian as well. Happy birthday, Maurice Smooth Wignall. Bernadette Humbert, it's your birthday. Jennifer King, happy birthday to you. Wishing for you guys a wonderful day.
Good morning. I want to send happy birthday greetings to my mother, Paulette Russell. Big up yourself, Mom. Greetings are coming from yours truly and your kids. We wish for you many more. That's from Mr. G. T-Mac here saying, please give a birthday shout out to a very ardent listener, Mr. Patrick Budden of Dover District in St. Catherine. Happy birthday to you, Sir Patrick. E. Phillips is saying happy birthday to Mr. Vincent Phillips, O.C. Mannix, down there in Negril. Hopefully you'll have an enjoyable day. He's a very ardent listener of Nationwide. Vincent, Sir Vincent, happy birthday to you. It's your day. A blessed birthday. And Denise Keating, I see that on Saturday, April 19th, it will be your day. I'm wishing you happy birthday, Venice. And of course, wishing you many more.
Eric Blair sending happy birthday to niece Frederica Blair from your uncle Eric Blair. Happy birthday to you, Frederica. Wishing for you a good one. And tomorrow is our very own Rodney Campbell's birthday. Happy birthday when it comes to you, Rodney, and wishing for you a good one. Much love to you from your NNN family.
Ines Campbell Murray saying happy birthday to my sister-in-law Evelyn Bishop Murray in time and patience, Linstead, St. Catherine. Bless up yourself, Evelyn. Wishing you a very happy birthday. I am seeing here as well. Happy birthday to my second child, first daughter, who will be celebrating her birthday, her 18th birthday. That's coming from KTB. Well, wishing you a lot of life and that you continue to follow God forevermore and allow God's house to be your dwelling place. Happy birthday to you. Special happy birthday to you. Geneva is saying, well, Caroline Smith is saying happy birthday to Rodney Campbell. I'm wishing you a very happy birthday. Very happy birthday there. Winston Haywood is saying happy belated birthday to Tricia. Wishing you a very happy belated birthday, Tricia. We have a lot this morning, Tana. What have I missed? Okay. Happy birthday to the most beautiful 12-year-old in Jamaica today, Rochelle Bennett. That's saying continue to go in grace and favor with God. Enjoy your day, Princess. That's coming from Horace Bennett. Wishing you a very happy 12th birthday today.
Delia Shirley sending happy birthday greetings when it comes to her beautiful sister, Mayoka in Baltimore. Have the best day. Loads of love and blessings. So Mayoka celebrating her birthday tomorrow. Also celebrating his birthday on Saturday, Cleveland Richards, an ardent NNN listener, celebrating his birthday on Saturday. So happy birthday when it comes Cleveland.
Yeah, greetings for tomorrow, the 18th. Happy birthday to Lydia Wright in Northampton from sisters Ina, Jem, and Joy. And happy anniversary tomorrow to Reverend Danvers and wife Beverly in Porus, Manchester. Greetings coming from Clovelin.
Ooh, babe. gonna give you one.
Oh, we're back with you. We have a couple more. Oh, you see the one from Arlene Rowe?
Yes.
Okay, go ahead.
So Arlene Rose sending happy birthday blessings to her son's cousin, Jeffrey Minot, a.k.a. Cruz, who served in the U.S. Army. Hey, T. Cruz, happy birthday. From Okilo, your mom, Patricia, your dad, and siblings, as well as Arlene. Happy birthday. And Geneva sending happy birthday greetings to Joy Cephas, who will be celebrating her birthday on Saturday, April 19. So Joy, happy birthday when it comes. Wishing for you a joyful one.
Yeah, I'm seeing a happy birthday to Sizzla Kalonji, born today. I'm seeing that from Annie Smith.
So wait, Capleton's birthday was what, about 2 days ago?
Yeah.
And then today's Sizzla's birthday?
Interesting stuff. Well, to all celebrating birthdays, we're wishing you a happy birthday. They are cutting us off. We'd want to stay. So very happy birthday to you. And yeah, enjoy your Easter
Squeeze
weekend.
a mean man. Ashley Dawkins, your birthday is on Sunday. Happy birthday to you, Ashley. When it comes, and Monica sending happy birthday to grandson Javon. He's 3 years old. Happy birthday to you, Javon.
I see another one here. Birthday from Yande. Happy birthday from Mother Kimberly. Dada Gary, uncles, love you lots. Yeah, there's a lot of birthdays. Yeah.
So if you're celebrating your birthday today, happy birthday to you. If you're celebrating your anniversary, happy anniversary to you as well. Margot Weber sending happy birthday to Ashley Dawkins.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's about it for the show. Thank you so much for tuning in to Nationwide this morning, NTM. Thanks so much to our technical operator, the musical maestro, Jermaine King. Oh yeah, let's do that, and then we come right back and sign out.
The Birthday Club was brought to you by Burger King, the best tasting burger under the sun.
Thanks as well to our super producer Michelle McCray Smith and our super editor Kimone Thompson. Up next, the Consumer Hour with Norgay Banton, and at 10, Cliff Hughes Online. Until Tuesday, I'm Tawna Thomas.
I'm Sondre Rodan.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I grew up as a real good girl, always home, don't go nowhere. As soon as I was introduced to carnival, they say I lose all down on the ground, walking up my bottom, and it dragging all over tongue, and they say I lose. It was never a party at my school bazaar I used to go, but since I was introduced to Bacchanal, they say I lose. When I drop it hot and I wind it on top the speaker box, and I grind it, and I don't want to stop, and they call it. I lose and lose it, I sweeter than juice it. This carnival have me so damn loose. Get loose away, get loose away, get loose away, loosen your waist, kill them with the pace. There's no place I'd rather be than in a fest, having a time. For those who have eyes to see me acting up and winding loose, all down on the ground, walking up the bottom, and it dragging all over tongue, and they say I lose it. I never meant to be this way. This is Bacchanal inside of me. When I come on a stage, getting a bag, you know I lose. When I drop it hot and I wind it on top the speaker box, and I grind it, and I don't want to stop, and they
You've just heard Nationwide this morning on Nationwide 90 FM.
Fearless and fair. Nationwide 90 FM.